Good afternoon. We want to welcome you this afternoon to the meeting of the Drainage District Board of Directors for today, November the 10th, 2014. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. And is there anybody signing up under open forum? No, I don't have a list of anybody here. Now, I got the list, but nobody signed up on the one I have. Nobody else? All right. Our consent agenda, any concerns? Before we proceed, we want to take a little time and begin by wishing one of our county commissioners, Precinct 1, a happy birthday. He turned 61 today.
Almost ready for Social Security, huh?
One more year, you can apply for that Social Security. I'm ready. Obamacare along with it. All right, go ahead.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4.
Okay, that works. Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Item 5, approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1 and Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 as it relates to the irrigation facilities located on the banks of the Rio Grande River near Peñitas, Texas, known as the Pump House. This is a cooperative agreement between the Drainage District and the Irrigation District to move forward with the reconstruction and recertification of the pump house itself.
How much more or less do you think it's going to cost us?
We don't know, Commissioner, right now. Basically, they're allocating about $300,000 and some odd thousand, they themselves. And there's 2 steps we're going to be doing through the interlocal. One is we're going to go meet with FEMA to see if the pump house is going to be able to get certified before we start expending large amounts of money. At that point, we'll come back to the board and report the status before we pull the actual trigger on the reconstruction of the pump house itself. IBWC has moved forward. We've been in meeting with their legal counsel in irrigation, where they've hired URS, which is an engineering company, to do the levees coming up to the pump house. So the only thing that will be left to do on the whole levee system here in Hidalgo will be basically the pump house itself for all the levees to be recertified. But we will come back to this board with what FEMA tells us.
Second.
Those in favor, say, go ahead, Commissioner.
Do we need to go back to IBWC on this?
I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear. I apologize.
Do we need to go back to IBWC for any?
No, sir. Basically, the agreement we have with IBWC that when we go meet with FEMA, we would notify them and they will join us at the meeting with FEMA so they will know firsthand what we're doing and what FEMA is going to be telling us.
And certification is done by,
The certification will be done for this pump house by Irrigation District Number 1 since they will be the owners of the pump house.
thank you.
We have those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6A, requesting approval to pay Citibank $33.59 as a claim for the purchase of minutes for a prepaid phone used at Willacy County by M&O employees. A lot of our cell phones don't work over there in the Willacy County by the ranch, so we've got it as a prepaid card. So whenever a crew goes out there, we can use that phone up in that area.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to pay invoice number 9777-3359 in the amount of $22 to McCoy's as a claim for the purchase of a cabinet for the district's time clock in the shop area due to accounts being closed. Basically, we're moving our time clocks in the shop to be able to have the personnel have more access to it instead of them being clouded up in one area.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 7, requesting approval to accept and approve to execute final negotiated agreement professional engineering services with Dannebaum Engineering Company, McAllen LLC, professional engineers as it relates to engineering services required for the Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1, Edinburgh Pump, Peñitas Pump, and Levee Rehabilitation Project, approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1, Board of Directors on March 25th, 2014.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval of work authorization number 1 with Dannebaum Engineering Company, McAllen LLC, in the amount of $6,234.78 to agreement for professional engineering services at Hidalgo County Irrigation District 1, Edinburgh Pump House, Peñitas Pump, and the levee rehabilitation project. This is the work authorization I mentioned when we're going to go meet with FEMA and get their clearance from them.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval of work authorization number 2 with Danamom Engineering Company McAllen LLC in the amount of $470,638.10 to agreement for professional engineering services, Hidalgo County Irrigation District 1, Edinburgh Pump House, Peñitas Pump, and levee rehabilitation project as it relates to a structural analysis for the Edinburgh Pump and Peñitas Pump House. This is the second phase of the project as we move forward after FEMA gives us a clearance. If we're not going to be able to get it certified, then this PO will be canceled and new direction will be given by the board.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D, requesting approval to accept and approval to execute final negotiated agreement for professional engineering services with Lefevre Engineering and Management Consultant LLC, excuse me, as it relates to professional engineering services for Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Canyon, mile 17.5 area drainage improvements, approved for negotiation by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on February 11, 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, requesting approval of work authorization number 1 with Lefevre Engineering and Management Consultant LLC in the amount of $78,662.50 to agreement for professional engineering services, Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Canyon, mile 17.5 area drainage improvement as it relates to engineering design services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Requesting approval of work authorization number 2 with Lefevre Engineering and Management Consultant LLC in the amount of $19,665.63 to agreement for professional engineering services, Precinct 4 Drainage Canyon, mile 17.5 area drainage improvement as it relates to surveying services within the area, the project area.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, requesting approval of work authorization number 3 with Lefevre Engineering and Management Consultant LLC in the amount of $3,600 to agreement for professional engineering services, Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Canyon, mile 17.5 area drainage improvement as it relates to geotechnical services within the project area.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H, requesting approval of change order number 2 decreasing in the amount of $2,000 with GP7 Construction, Inc. for the construction contract number HCDD113 0210429A and FM 495 Trend Road Field Crossing. This is the reduction of a down drain that was not installed on the project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8, approval to process payments for 2 claims to New Housing Company, APO 622836 in the amount of $801.24 for purchase of incorrect filters. We had ordered oil filters and they brought air filters, so it's become a claim to change it over from one to the other.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
PO number 622060 in the amount of $535.50 for increase to repairs on the herbicide rig. This was the PO we had. They took the rig in. There was additional work needed, so it increased the cost of the project or the
Move for
repairs.
approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item 9, I'll let Ms. Briones present that one.
Item number 9 is request approval to select and negotiate a bond underwriter for the district's 2014 refunding bond series from a list of underwriters provided by the financial advisor. The financial advisor provided us a list. They ranked them based on the number of issuances for calendar year 2014. They are ranked as number 1, Samco, number 2, Raymond James, and number 3, BOSC.
Move for
So,
approval.
Do we have a copy of
Number-
that?
For the ranking.
for the ranking, it'll be number 1, Samco, is the recommendation that we're taking to negotiate with.
Do we have any?
Move for approval.
Second.
Lori, Commissioner Palacios?
Excuse me?
Would like a copy of the sheet where you ranked them.
Okay, I'll get a copy for you.
Move for approval of the ranking.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now we need a motion for, to,
To negotiate,
so move
request approval to negotiate.
with the highest ranked. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Can you give us the one you have so Commissioner Palacios can see it?
That's all you looked at.
Just did it today, cuando vino Chris. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, item number 10.
Item 10, request approval to issue manual checks on the following items after review and audit process has been completed. Item A, retainage release the amount of $38,583.84 for Texas Cordia Construction LLC for the construction project number HCDD1 13014 1126 Alamo Expressway Drain Border Crossing Improvements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, application payment number 3 in the amount of $54,978.87 from GP7 Construction, Inc. for construction project number HCDD1 13021 0429A.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Request approval of budget amendment from District CIP 2008 Bond Series Fund 132 in the amount of $476,872.88 for funding for work authorization number 1 in the amount of $6,234.78 and work authorization number 2 in the amount of $470,638.10 from Danimum Engineering Company, McAllen LLC, related to the Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1, Edinburgh Pump, Peñitas Pump, and Levee Rehabilitation Project.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And 12, request approval of budget amendment from District CIP 2013 Bond Series Fund 133 in the amount of $98,295.42 to fund budget shortfall for the construction contract HCDD1 14027-1014 North Main Drain, Weir Number 1 with Foremost Paving, Inc., bid date 10/14/2014. The bids came in about $98,295.42 above the estimated amount that we had on the bond issuance. So this is coming out of the contingency account.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 13A, approval to rescind action taken on 3/11/14 that relates to item 4, AI 43483, and place administration of financial personnel back under the district's manager.
What's this about?
Basically, I presented an item for the board's consideration to be able to pull the administration part of the financial officers back under the drainage district manager.
But back in March, what was it, March 11th of this year, the board unanimously voted to take it out of your jurisdiction or your area of authority and place it right underneath the district board.
Yes, sir.
And that was just about 7 months ago, and we did it because we were looking for transparency. We were looking for avoidance of any conflict of interest, and we were looking for some kind of independence. And you're telling us at this point that you want it changed back, and your reason being what?
Reason being that the way it's structured right now does not work, Judge. I believe that there's problems within the processing of it, not the auditing, but the processing of the drainage district, the way the board took action on. I believe under the following item, I believe the board has the ability to move the auditing services to another direction if the board wishes. But right now, I believe it's become almost impossible to operate the district on a day-to-day basis the way we have it.
Godfrey, if I may,
Yes,
as
sir.
a liaison of the department, ever since March, Judge, Commissioners, we've had an active role there at the department. I think the clear objective in March was that we would have a level of transparency, accountability, and assure that all was clear when dealing with not just bond funds, but the maintenance and operations. I worked alongside with the judge's staff. I see Jaime Longoria out there, and we've worked constructively to try to assure that the the operations and the auditing would happen up to the expectation of the board. We've been successful at that. I think at this point, there is transparency, there is accountability, there's no appearance of impropriety by any means. There's been personnel issues, and I think it's, as a liaison to the board, I wanted to make sure that all commissioners, and as well as yourself, Judge, are privy to the issues that we're having. At this point, because of differences, there's a holdup on the operations, and there's a monumental effect at this point. Godfrey, I know that has presented a list of issues that we have. I think he's discussed these issues with other board members, and we just thought it'd be respectful to the board to bring this matter before you and decide what would be in the best interest of the district.
Wouldn't the auditor want to be the auditor for it? Audit the drainage department, district?
I think you had asked that before, and I accepted it, but the decision was changed. I can do that, but I will need the staffing.
Before we do that, I mean, if what Commissioner Palacios is saying is correct, the issues involved are personnel issues. We have a grievance procedure in place. We don't want to be accused of violating anyone's due process rights, if in fact that's what it is. But I just have a big concern over the fact, number one, you're not an employee of the county.
No, sir.
You're an independent, you're employed by an independent contractor, and you oversee the expenditure of several hundred millions of dollars for the district. And that's why I felt it was important that we have some independent individual or person that would overlook and oversee another set of eyes, so to speak. But it could be the auditor, that's no problem. She could work under the auditor. Maybe that will satisfy everybody's concerns. But I do think we need to maintain a level of independence. But if the issue right now is personnel, then we've got to put it back under our grievance policies and file your complaint, and let's follow that process, that procedure. That's why we have it in place.
Judge, at the very beginning, I think we're all advocating the same thing, transparency and accountability and assuring that there's checks and balances. In the initial onset, there was a little bit of ambiguity whether or not the staff would be isolated to an audit department for the district. Since then, obviously, they have a proportional effect on each other, and if in fact there are differences amongst individuals there on both sides, it's hindering the issues with the operations of the district. We have issues of non-payments, we have issues of many issues, and I think Godfrey can disclose those issues on an individual basis with you all, but we just thought it'd be respectful of the board to at least figure out what is the pulse of the board, to figure out what's in the best interest, so.
Yeah, well, I don't mind talking to him or anyone else, but I do think we need to follow our policies. That's the reason we have them in place, for the protection of every employee.
And I think we're not here to violating the individual's rights, Judge. What I'm trying to present to the board is the operational part of the district. I have no issue on the auditing part being done by the auditor or anybody the board wishes. I just believe that the way it was structured is not a functional system for the district.
And I feel the same way being there 7 months now. I think the goal is to allow her to do her job as she's doing. There's been a lot of fragmentation within that operation in the district. We've been there and we can see it. The issue is very
Well, why don't
evident.
we have this issue then discussed at the very least in executive session? I mean, that's a personnel issue. I mean, I'm sure Mr. Crane might be able to guide us. You don't see this as personnel?
I don't see it as a true personnel issue. The best it could be would be evaluation.
Well,
You want to do it to evaluate, but then I'm not sure you're posted.
I just want to make sure that we don't violate anyone's due process rights.
Steve,
No.
can we appoint the auditor to take charge of this?
That you could do. That you could do.
And we have an item next to this under item B to do similar things like that, Judge, Commissioner.
Yeah, but that next item, you seem to want the auditor to audit, but only certain sections of your department. If he's going to audit, he's going to audit every aspect of it, every
And Judge,
day-to-day
I
operation.
have no problem with the auditor taking full charge of all the auditing procedures of the district.
The reason I mention it, because under the next item, you're trying to limit him to 2013 bond series.
I'd be more than happy to change that particular item at the board's request, to have the auditor audit all the accounts of the district.
So all of the financial personnel then would be under the auditor's office is the way it's contemplated.
It's up to the board, whichever way they want to, or the district
That's
can
why I'm
pay.
asking the board, is
yes.
that the way it's contemplated?
Godfrey, what you're talking about is the operation, the daily operation, that's what.
What I'm asking for the board to consider is the payment of all bills go to the auditor for processing of payment. All bills.
That would accomplish the transparency, the
Yes, sir.
accountability, and everything that the
Yes,
board
sir.
has.
I would agree that that would do it, and if, do you see any problem with the present staff, Mr. Eufrasio, that they work under you instead of report to you and not directed to us, but report to you and then you report to us?
I think before I came on board, Judge, that's the way it was. The auditor handled all of the
We just
financial
handle the
matters
bookkeeping.
of the drainage district. And I think that was one of the things that was discussed, and I think you had approved for me to do that. But that decision was reversed.
Well,
I
we
can,
have
I
been...
can, I can do that, but it will require staffing. And I would have to have the staffing and also the authority to supervise those individuals.
Well, the staffing would be, you've got, you're going to have the ones that are presently there.
Okay, yeah, that'd be
Why
fine.
would you need more staffing if you used to do it with the same staff?
The staff is already there in the drainage.
Right, no, but I would have to get the staff.
Mr. Eufrasio, I feel very comfortable with you doing it. You were doing it
The only thing he's
before.
saying, Judge, is that staff has to be transferred to his.
Yes, I think that they need to report to him like they used to before, Mr. Garza, back, what was it, 2006 or something, and we moved it away.
It was in 98, 99, Judge, when the board went independent. And basically and it's up to the board that the staff be assigned to the auditor's office. The district continue paying, but it goes over to the auditor's office. I have no issue whatsoever
Judge,
now.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of item 13A as well as 13B.
Now 13B, Commissioner, that one
Well,
limits,
to include all aspects of, whether it's M&O accounts, bond accounts, everything. The
That's no
same as he
problem.
does for the county.
to do what he does for the county, to
Yes,
do it
sir.
for the drainage district,
Yes,
and
sir.
for the financial personnel that are presently under Ms. Briones, that they, along with herself, be under
Transfer.
Mr. Eufrasio.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Now, Judge, the function that we performed for the drainage district was just not accounts payable, was the entire financial,
That's what the motion is.
Okay.
Whatever you do for the
All right.
county, you do it for the drainage
okay,
district.
just want to make sure that it's clear that it's,
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioners.
so you approve 13A and B, or which one, Judge?
Well, a modification of
Modified
B, a modified B.
All right.
We approve that, but also everything else that you do for the county.
Okay.
You do it for the drainage district.
No extra pay.
No pay?
No more
I
staff,
cut him pay.
no more staff either.
And can you make it subject to legal drawing up whatever documents need to be drawn up for them to be able to transfer it over to?
Okay, next item.
We have nothing under executive session for the board to consider, sir.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
You got 5 minutes.
1:45, ¿qué horas son?
2 o'clock.
Oh, bueno. At this time, we're going to be convening our regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, November the 10th, 2014. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the privilege of living in a free country and all the things that goes with it. We want to thank the veterans especially today, including our Rosie the Riveters, who did their share. We do appreciate everybody who has always given so much for the effort to keep our country free. Please bless all the commissioners and the judge today. Help them do their job in a good manner with full cooperation. and help all of us to always be thankful for their service too. And we ask this in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I'm going to proceed to the issue involving the veterans under 6A, presentation by our Veteran Service Officer in observance of Veterans Day. As you all know, tomorrow, November the 11th, is Veterans Day, a day in which we make time to honor those individuals, both men and women, that have sacrificed themselves and their families for our freedoms.
Good afternoon, Judge and County Commissioners.
We are going to be hearing from our Veterans Officer, Mr. Emilio de los Santos, and Mr. Felix Rodriguez.
I would also like to introduce the gentleman, the other gentleman that joined our staff, Mackenzie Miller. Of course,
Welcome, sir.
you all know Felix Rodriguez. On November the 11th, Veterans Day, we honor all the living veterans who served in the armed forces. These individuals, men and women, served in World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm, Gulf War, and Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. And in time of peace, defending our country and our freedom. These individuals, known as veterans, served our country with honor, dignity, and respect. Veterans Day is a day to say thank you to all our living veterans who fought in these wars, and we must not forget the men and women in uniform who are in harm's way protecting the freedom for us and others. In closing, I must encourage everyone to remember Veterans Day as a special opportunity to give thanks to living veterans for their contribution and sacrifices. So when you meet or see a veteran, tell him or her, thank you for your service to our country. Some of the ways that you can also appreciate veterans on Veterans Day is to attend your local Veterans Days event, whether it be a parade, whether it be a ceremony at a cemetery. This is a good time to do that. Also, flying the flag. This is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and fly your flags. And I'm talking to a lot of our community. I know that our communities are very patriotic, and we've already seen several flags flying all over our county. Before I go ahead and pass it on to one of our other Veteran Service officers, I just wanted to let you know that this morning at 10 o'clock, Congressman Rubén Hinojosa honored World War II veterans, which approximately they honored about 60 World War II veterans. And not all of them, but most of them were on wheelchairs, okay? But we still have some real strong World War II veterans that they're ready to sign up again, you know. But it was a tremendous, well-attended ceremony this morning. Just wanted to let you know that the activities for Veterans Day started, I think, last Saturday when Edinburgh had their parade or something like that, okay? I do have some calendar of events that are going to be happening on Veterans Day. I'll go ahead and provide a copy to each of the commissioners in case you want to attend one of the veterans events. At this time, I'll go ahead and Felix, you have something to say? Go ahead.
Thank you, Emilio. I put my glasses on, you know, I don't hear well, I don't see well, you know, so.
You must be over 61.
64, Emilio. Thank you all for having us here today. Judge, commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie the Riveters, thank you so much for being here today, and I'm honored to be in your presence. It's a very special day for most of us, for all us veterans. Veterans Day and Memorial Day is, every day is Veterans Day and Memorial Day. You will see many veterans wearing the hats proudly and hanging out together and having a good time, especially remembering our comrades that can't be here today. So today I want to speak to the courage and the valor that many of our veterans have displayed in the field of battle. It says a lot. It says a lot as to why our country is, and why we are free here today and enjoy the liberties that we have. I think that this poem that I'm about to read to you speaks to that courage and valor that many of us have faced in the field of battle. It is a poem. It is a St. Crispin's Day speech written by Shakespeare, a work that he penned that goes after Henry V. Although Shakespeare penned this work nearly 200 years after the Battle of Agincourt, it remains the finest dramatic interpretation of what leadership meant to the men in the Middle Ages. Prior to the battle, Henry V had led his English footmen across northwestern France, seizing Calais and other cities in an attempt to win back holds in France that had once been in English possession, and to claim the French crown through the obscure but powerful Salic law. Before I proceed with this, may I have all the veterans in attendance here today stand that we may recognize you. All veterans, please. This poem is mostly directed to you and your dependents. Commissioner, thank you. The French, aware of Henry's troops' weakening condition because of their distance from England and the attacks of dysentery that had plagued the dwindling band, moved between King Henry and Calais, the port he needed to reach in order to return to England. The troops followed Henry's band along the rivers, preventing their crossing and daring them to a battle they thought they could not win. The English knights fought on foot after the manner devised by Edward III. Archers were to be used in support. The English and Welsh longbows have established their credentials both at Crecy in 1347 and at Poitiers in 1356. But here the French seem to have sufficient numbers to deal with even this threat, and they refused to allow Henry pass, angered by the English seizure of the cities. Morale in the English line as they looked upon the overwhelming force of heavily armored, highly skilled French knights must have been extremely low. King Henry, rising to the occasion, spoke words of encouragement that rallied the English troops and carried them to a victory. As a result of the victory, the French Princess Catherine was betrothed to Henry V, and France and England were at peace for the remainder of Henry's short life. He perished of dysentery in 1422, but was survived by his son, Henry VI, and was buried at Westminster Abbey, close to the shrine of Edward the Confessor. Although the speech below is a work of fiction, it is evocative of the spirit with which Henry and all strong medieval kings ruled through the strength of their convictions and by force of their personality. The poem begins. The king enters, and he says, "Westmoreland, oh, that we now had here but 1/10,000 of those men in England that do no work today." And the king does respond, "What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin, if we are marked to die, we are enow to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, have faith, my cousin. Wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor as one man more methinks would share from me, for the best hope I have. Do not wish one man more. Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which has no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors, and say, tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars, and say, these wounds I had on Crispian's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Garcia, Gonzales and Benavides, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall never go by, from this day to the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day. God bless you, Rosie the Riveters. God bless all of you that are in attendance. God bless our men and women in uniform that are in harm's way. God bless you, Judge, Commissioner's Court, and God bless our U.S. of A.
Thank you, sir.
If we could have the veterans that are here with us today join us for a picture.
Go to the front. I want you back here.
And Rosie the Riveters.
If you'd like to, if you'd like to.
Definitely.
Where's Mr. Green Beret? Mingo?
Everybody over here? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Everybody over here? 1, 2, 3. Now if everybody could look up there. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, guys.
We had another item that I was going to move up, that was item 9A, a resolution in support of our Veterans Court that I've been told is going to be passed until our next meeting. Am I correct, Jaime?
That's correct, Judge.
All right. There's been an unfortunate incident in Judge Israel Ramon's court. One of his members of his staff was seriously taken to the hospital, and they're not able to be here, so we're going to move it until our next meeting. All right. The next item, item 6B, resolution honoring Hidalgo County's Rosie the Riveters. Mary Jo Tansel.
Good afternoon. On the agenda today, we have a proclamation honoring the remarkable women who answered the call to leave their homes to work in the munitions industry, filling gaping holes in the industrial labor force during World War II. Rosie the Riveter is an American cultural icon represented by women who joined the war effort during World War II. More than 16 million women worked as Rosies, including these three lovely women here with us today: Angelica Gonzalez Garcia, Molly Hulsinger, and Mary Jo Tansel. Our Hidalgo County Rosies contributed to the war effort by taking jobs left vacant by men leaving to join the armed forces. Mrs. Garcia worked on a lathe, making bolts and screws for airplanes in Marfa, Texas, and she's the one with the Rosie headband on that black and white picture with the plane. Ms. Hulsinger lost 3 fingers while using a punch press to build parts for airplanes in Wichita, Kansas, and her granddaughter painted that Rosie the Riveter painting. And Ms. Tansel, a war widow, a young war widow, was a librarian, but she wasn't keeping track of books. She was keeping track of inventory at a shipbuilding company in Houston, and later made O-rings for airplanes. Hidalgo County is proud to honor the working women of World War II, recognizing their significant contribution to the success of our nation during the war and for inspiring generations of women. So we're asking that it be resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court honors Rosie the Riveter women from Hidalgo County for their bravery, unwavering dedication, and patriotic commitment to our country.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. I'm very proud of all 3 of these young ladies, especially my mother, Angelica Gonzalez Garcia, who was graduated in 1940 from La Jolla High, and the war started in December 41, and by the spring of 42, she was in Marfa, making airplanes.
Smile. Smile. 1, 2, 3. One more. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. And then if you can look up at Hilda. Over here. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay, our next item is item 6C, a proclamation for the Comfort House, observing 25 years of hospice care.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners, gentlemen. Hospice care is end-of-life care, where a team of healthcare professionals and volunteers provide this service to our community. They give medical, psychological, and spiritual support. The goal of the care is to help people who are dying have peace, comfort, and dignity. The caregivers to try to control pain and other symptoms so as a person can remain as alert and comfortable as possible. Hospice programs also provide services to support a patient's family. Usually, a hospice patient is expected to live 6 months or less. This is according to the National Institutes of Health, also known as the NIH. That being said, for the past 25 years, a local nonprofit organization known as the Comfort House has been providing a peaceful, home-like environment where any person may die in peace, free of pain, with dignity, and surrounded by loved ones. We're asking today, therefore be it resolved, that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court proclaimed the month of November 2014 as Hospice Palliative Care Month and November 18th, 2014 as Comfort House Day. I present to you Executive Director of the Comfort House Services Incorporated, Mrs. Melissa Patterson.
For approval.
Second.
Those in,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. Before we vote, is there any comments any member of the court wants to make?
Just want to remind you guys, treat me right. That's my daughter. So.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. On behalf of the Comfort House, the staff, and the Board of Directors, we would like to thank you for taking the time to recognize the 25 years of service that Sister Marion Strohmeyer started back in 1986. We are very proud that we are the only special care facility at that time from San Antonio down to South Texas. So at this time, the Aurora House with the Commissioner Cuellar, we now have the Aurora House, which Comfort House helped assist. So we now have 2 facilities in the valley. You should be aware that currently we average, 2013 was 147 patients and families that we assisted. We are a little over 150 that we've assisted so far. There's a big need for this. The Comfort House is a nonprofit organization, as she mentioned. We are not a hospice, we're a house. Sister Marion opened up this facility located at 617 Dallas for any patient or family who was needing end-of-care life help to receive assistance. Commissioner Palacios directly experienced this in the loss of his sister back in 2006. We are there for any cancer patient, any patient with any kind of illness. We're there to help, and we are proudly serving the community, Valley residents of Hidalgo County. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget not to sign it.
For anyone that has, that would like, there's some sweet bread and coffee in the back that has been provided in honor of the Rosie Riveters.
Can we take a break?
Camel light break.
¿Quiere comer pan?
right, our next item is item 6D as in David. Chapa, go ahead, please.
I thought you were waiting for the people to come back from the coffee break. I'd like at this time, Commissioners Court, to introduce to you Ricardo Saldaña. If you'll join me up here. Mr. Saldaña is a well-respected emergency management and fire department professional with 33 years of experience. He comes to the county as our new emergency management coordinator after serving as fire chief in the city of Mission for the past 17 years. So the west side of the county knows him. The east side, we're just introducing you to him. In addition to serving as chief, he also served 15 years as Mission's emergency management coordinator. Some of Chief Saldaña's accomplishments are overseeing construction of 3 fire substations and a central fire station, increasing response time and fire protection and rescue. And he implemented a state-certified EMS first responder program for the Mission Fire Department. He holds certifications as a firefighter, fire inspector, instructor, peace officer, and advanced arson investigator. Through his years of service, Chief Saldaña has cultivated indispensable relationships with the first responders and law enforcement communities on a local, state, and federal level, all of which will serve him well in the new role as the County Emergency Management Coordinator. We welcome Mr. Rick Saldaña. You want to say a few words?
Judge. Rick, before you say anything, let me tell you about part of the process. We're very fortunate to have a gentleman of this stature become our emergency management coordinator. In trying to select him, I contacted 4 individuals that are well known and respected in firefighting and law enforcement in our county, and asked them to name me 3 people, and all 4 had not the 3 same names, but had in common this gentleman's name. So in my mind, that kind of made the decision up for me, and we were very fortunate to have him because he is very well respected, which is a badly needed a position to have when getting involved in emergency management coordination. Go ahead, Rick.
Judge, Commissioners Court, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be the emergency management coordinator for Hidalgo County. I look forward in working with each and every one of the precincts. I've already worked with Commissioner Flores' office and his chief of staff and his staff members. Joseph, we go back a long way from our municipal years in Mission. And Commissioner Palacios, Commissioner Cuevas, I look forward to working with you and your chiefs of staff and your personnel here in the near future. And thank you very much again for allowing me. I look forward to making Hidalgo County and its citizens a lot safer in the years to come. Thank you.
All right, item number 6E.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Bobby Villarreal,
Morning,
County
sir.
Judge's Office. We have a couple items today. This is a follow-up from last week. 6E is a discussion, consideration, and action to amend the Hidalgo County Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Policy. Michael, can you pass that out, Mike? We have Mike Bettis, one of the consultants on the project that we've been considering and where this amendment may take place. But where Michael's showing you is we're proposing a couple changes, and we wanted direction from the court to go ahead and get legal to go ahead and adopt those. One of the proposed changes is to add special circumstances where the zone is greater than 500 acres and is situated entirely in the extraterritorial jurisdiction of a municipality, and the zone must be annexed by the municipality within 12 months of the zone being created. And the other consideration to change is to add language that will allow the county to contribute more into the development than the city would. And this circumstance occurred simply because McAllen is one of the few cities that actually has a lower tax rate than the county. So by default, when you do 80% of something, then McAllen would contribute a little less. But on the backside, there's more that we would gain from it. But having said that, I'd like to go ahead and let Mike Bettis go ahead and do a little presentation on the project itself, and then that way y'all can get a little more knowledge of the project, and then we can look at the other items as we go.
Bobby, if you can also acknowledge, I know I see McAllen Commissioner Scott Crane here
Yes.
with us
I'm sorry,
today,
I
representing the
forgot.
city of McAllen, and I do see Mike Rhodes out there, the developer of the project, just to acknowledge him in presence.
And Ms. Lefwich from the city of McAllen as well.
Yes.
So, and Mike.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here before you. As Bobby was saying, this is a proposed development that is being supported by the City of McAllen. It's a 2,571 acre development. It's a mixed-use development of single-family, townhomes, condos, apartments, office, retail, and there is going to also be some light industry in there, with industries looking at being able to use high-speed internet because we'll have fiber to the area. There'll be over 125 acres of parkland dedication that'll be developed by the TERS and turned over to the City of McAllen to maintain. The developer will dedicate right-of-way for the drainage that goes through the middle of the property, which is about 6 miles, which has an estimated value of about $6 million. That'll be dedicated to the drainage district. There will be property reserved for schools, public schools. We've had various meetings with the Edinburgh school districts, and they have selected the sites that they would like to have reserved for 2 elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school. The 2,500 acre development is currently totally outside the City of McAllen. It's in the county. It never has been part of the City of McAllen. And if the TERS is approved by both the city and the county, the City of McAllen will annex the property, and it will be part of the City of McAllen, where they will provide all services to the proposed mixed-use development. What we're asking for is 80% that would go to the TERS from both the City of McAllen and from the county. The City of McAllen has already approved a resolution of intent on the 80%, and we're asking the same for the county. All the green spaces are going to be watered with reuse water from the North Sewer Plant from the City of McAllen. There'll be fiber to the homes. All the services, because it will be annexed by the City of McAllen, were provided by the City of McAllen and instead of the county. The original plan was to develop the 2,500 into a rural development that would have half-acre, 1 acre, and 5-acre estate lots. The amount of taxes that would be generated by a rural development versus what's being proposed is much greater. If it turned into a rural development, the amount of taxes that would be generated would be far less than it would be with a high-density development that's being proposed. What we're asking you today is for 2 things. One is to approve amending your policy as it relates to the TERS, and then 2 is to approve the resolution of intent.
Amend the TERS policy to do what?
To allow for 80% reimbursement to the TERS.
All right, and the other one?
And the other one is to go ahead and approve the resolution of intent.
Judge, I haven't had a chance to review the proposed amended policy or the resolution. I would like to recommend that you allow me to review that before it's approved.
Legal is still doing some of the changes, but I think one of the things that they
How
want
long will it take you?
Hold on, Bobby.
What I would like to do is for you to bring it back next week for approval.
So the question is, how long will it take you to review it?
It shouldn't take very long, but I don't know how big the document is.
Judge, I'd like to entertain a motion. I know the City of McAllen's already addressed the issue. I know we've talked about it at length before, and still respecting the wishes of the auditor and legal. I know we need direction here. I'd like to make a motion that we consider the 80%. Obviously, this is one of a kind, one of its own kind of a development, model development that we hope that will spur up different types of developments like such. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 80% and let the legal and the auditor review all the pertinent documents to solidify it.
Now, Commissioner, one of the issues that I wanted to bring up was that this document that was just handed out by County Judge's Office states that a proposed change at language that would allow the county to contribute more than the city. The consultant just said that the city and the county would be contributing the same amount.
Is, well, that was what I thought we were
Well,
going to be doing, but...
if you look at- if
Hold
you
on,
look at-
Bobby. Is that because of the tax rate?
Yes.
If we let go of taxes for 20 or 30 years, and the city of McAllen does the same because they have a lesser tax rate, we're going to wind up losing more money in that period of time?
Well, actually, we would, because we have a bigger tax rate, what's left over for right now, we're talking about M&O rate only, which is 52 roughly, 52 cents per 100. So when you talk about 80% of that, that roughly calculates to about 41 pennies. And so the city on their side, they're doing 80% of the M&O of their city, but their tax rate is only about 43 pennies. So their number is about 35 pennies. But when you talk about the rest of it, we have a greater debt service. We have about 7 pennies of debt service. And we would continue to collect about, roughly about, I want to say 17 pennies, whereas McAllen would be collecting only about, what's that, about 8 pennies?
8 pennies.
Well, if you
So-
combine both, where are we? Is it equal?
We would actually collect more taxes than the city of McAllen would.
Yeah.
And if you look at that document there that you have, the cost of services for McAllen to provide over that 30-year stretch is about $26 million. And the cost of service for us as Hidalgo County would be about 18 million. And the data came from McAllen on the city side, and Budget Office did a cost of service for us. And that would be if this was a subdivided subdivision with the high density that Mike talked about. And so essentially, if the city of McAllen, based on their numbers, they believe they're going to collect about 29 million over that time period to cover the 26 million of costs. And we would collect 36 million of M&O with about $24 million of debt service, which is about close to $60 million. And so that would cover the 18 million of cost of service. So as opposed to going rural subdivision, half-acre lots, and I think Commissioner Palacios can probably talk about that,
Yeah.
the cost of service would probably grow a lot more dramatically out of that.
What is the option that you're proposing, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I would suggest on the second one, if that's the court's pleasure, I would say 1 or 2. But the difference between 1 and 2 is that it would get rid of the developer surplus, and I'm not sure
No,
where.
we're not there yet.
Where
No.
Mr. Rhodes can.
He talked about it, and I think the 77, he's fine. Bobby was able to visit with him before, and he said he would accept the 77.
We'd have to take action.
The judge and commissioners, here's the issue, is that Mr. Rhodes has been working on this project for over a year and a half. And the drop-dead date for him and for the people he's dealing with is the end of this year. And so it's very important that we have the resolution of intent passed. Because at some point, I mean, he's in the business to make some money, and at some point, he has to make a decision. And so what we're asking is to approve, and Mr. Rhodes is willing to accept the 77%. And as I think the key issue here is if it develops as a rural subdivision, you're going to have additional expenses. And then by turning it over to the city of McAllen, there's tax avoidance. And you're going from basically $13 million that you get in taxes and about $18 million in expenses. So it is to the county's financial advantage to go ahead and approve it. Even if there is a difference between what the city of McAllen charges in taxes and what the county does. And I know that there is plans because of, in discussion with Bobby and what happened last Tuesday, that you're going to be taking a look at some other issues, and we understand that. And so the tax rate may be today 53 cents for O&M, but 2 years from now, for whatever reason, it could be 50 cents, it could be 52, or it could be 55, you don't know. But at 77% reimbursement, Mike Rhodes says that the development will work, and we're ready to proceed on, contingent upon your approval.
We had a motion and a second.
And the
Judge,
motion,
Is this document available somewhere, or what are we saying, Commissioner?
It can be approved subject to leak to auditors. No, Steve?
Michael, you want to finish your presentation?
I pretty much have
No.
concluded. Oh, this,
What was that, Steve?
Didn't you have something else to say about what you handed out?
Yeah.
What you wanted was direction.
Yes.
As to which way to go, not necessarily approval today.
Okay, so courts, the two proposals are for the zone to be greater than 500 acres, situated entirely in the territorial jurisdiction of a municipality, and the zone must be annexed by the municipality within 12 months of the zone being created. And the second change would be to add some language that would allow the county to contribute more than the city in the development.
Now, that's going to reflect item F, is that correct?
That would be item E. That would be policy.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, on the policy itself. So can we take action on the policy with the changes that you've identified?
We don't have the
What about, what will that language look like?
Well,
When you
it's-
say add language, we need to be voting on some specific language that will be a part of the policy.
Okay. Well, the one right there, number 1, where it's highlighted in yellow, that's pretty much word for word. The second one, I guess I would defer to Steve on what the appropriate language would be on that.
I think Steve was saying that at this point, the court is going to give direction on it, Steve?
That it was our intention was to give direction and then have that direction approved by a motion, and then so we can amend the policy, bring the policy back to you vote on next week.
Well, I think that's what you got. You have a motion and a second approving that we'd like to take the direction of honoring option, is it 1 or 2?
Both options.
On both options?
Yeah.
You have a motion and a second.
But when you say 1 or 2, what are you
The
talking about?
highlighted section, Judge?
There's 2 items highlighted.
On the 2 highlighted?
All right, but not 1 or 2 on the options, though.
No.
Right, no.
We're talking about policy right now only, not the rate.
All right.
The rate will be the second one.
Limiting it to policy, and we're going to be passing a resolution in support of this being done.
Yes.
And Mr. Crane is going to draft the proper language that we can then adopt.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
And then item, Steve, 6F,
Yes, item F.
Also, that was not attached, so is that the same thing? We're going to,
that would be the notice of intent.
That would be the resolution of intent
Yeah.
to enter into a TERS with TERS Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of McAllen, Texas, at participation rate with a newly adopted and amended Dollar County TERS.
Now we're
policy.
focusing specifically on this particular project.
Correct.
Yeah, on the rate.
On the options.
And what option are you proposing we would
We
look
have
at?
proposed 77%. for
Which
the-
one?
Number 2,
Which
All
would be
right.
option 2.
which is 77% with the county, 80% with the city.
is there a resolution somewhere?
I remember when the presentation was initially made that there was going to be a donation of some acreage.
Oh,
That's in
yes.
Yes. The land for the drainage will be donated to the county drainage district, and also the right-of-way for Ware Road would also be dedicated to the city of McAllen to dedicate to the state of Texas. And also any right-of-way along Monte Cristo would also be dedicated.
Which has a valuation of about $6 million.
About $6
if not-
million on the drainage. That is correct.
And the amount of acreage is what, Mike?
70 acres or something?
Yeah, pretty close to 70 acres.
How much?
About a little over 70 acres
70?
on the drainage part. because-
70.
Right.
6 miles long, I'm not sure the width.
All
Steve, do
right.
you have the resolution with you?
I do not have a resolution, no.
Judge, I have not seen the
This
resolution.
is just a notice, this is just intent.
Res-
It is not the resolution, it's just intent to enter into the resolution.
We had the resolution, Michael Lear from the judge's
Intent to
office, but
participate. Then we're going to go ahead and bring it back whenever Mr. Crane and Mike and their lawyer work out the terms of it.
right, it's again, we were waiting direction from the court to see at what level, because whatever level you decide is going to be on that resolution, whether it be 80%, 77%, for example. So now that we got that, we can go back and finalize the resolution.
Approving the intent to participate.
So you need a motion to which option, which level?
And that's where 77 comes in.
Yes.
All right.
Can I ask-
Was that the motion at 77%? And was there a second?
Yes.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you,
Yeah, good
Commissioners.
luck to you guys. All right, we're going to move back to approval of our consent agenda. Any concerns, Mr. Ofracio?
I'm sorry, Judge. Yes, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 12A as an item be pulled for discussion.
Which one?
12A.
Move for approval, ruling out 12A.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
What I'm going to ask the court is to approve, subject to, there is a meeting that has taken place at my office between auditor's office and architect, and we will ask the court approve, subject to the final form of agreement either being corrected to reflect the 34,062 or as is at 39,702. So it would be subject to that. I recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Under open forum, first presenter is Ramiro Trevino.
Good morning, good afternoon, Judge, Commissioner, Senior Administration, ladies and gentlemen. My reason for being here today is that a few meetings ago, I brought before this commission a concern on the take-home vehicles of different departments within the school, within the county, that we had concerns about it. 2 meetings after that, I brought to this court announcing that I was going to ask for the public records. Well, I have, but I am disappointed and appalled that after going to the Public Affairs Office and asking for the public records request, I received a letter from the appropriate person telling me the policy as to the county policy. But giving me the list of all the different entities that I have to request the public records from, which I haven't done yet, because I haven't had time. But what somebody within the county, either sitting on this commission or somebody in senior administration, took it upon themselves to send me 4 different letters from the district attorney's office. I would presume anything concerning any public records request, a letter giving that guidance would have to come from our county attorney. Well, it didn't. We have met with the assistant DA. What he found surprising is that I haven't requested the public records request yet. So what does that tell me? By carrying out this action, it just sets the tone and gives the perception that something is wrong. So who gave the directive to have the assistant DA send me several letters? Because if anybody up here thinks that this is going to intimidate me, well, I was born with the gene that doesn't intimidate. Now, the request will be asked for. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. We know, as a citizen, as a taxpayer, what we are entitled to. So how dare anybody up here give this directive, thinking that it would faze me? Well, it doesn't, gentlemen. Let's get it together. We've had a lot of black eyes brought to this county in the past, in the most recent past. Let's not bring another one. The request will be asked for, will be reviewed, and will be brought before you. Let's start doing things appropriately and ethically before we try to intimidate citizens, because I'm not intimidated. Finally, several meetings ago, you all swore in the new Justice of the Peace to the Western Side, a decent man. But you all made the mistake of presenting him as a retired TABC agent. Well, he's not. He was the liquor tax collector. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Luis, either Peña or Perez. Thank you, sir.
How you doing, Commissioner, Judge? My concern here is the tax assessor's office has 2 fraud investigators assigned to the motor vehicle division. Citizens have approached me and have told me of what has gone on in that department. I have seen it for myself, the citations they have issued citizens for numerous charges, being falsifying titles, falsifying affidavits, and so forth. That is not a Class C misdemeanor. And there's something is wrong with the JPs that are taking these fines in, because they're charging people $500 in fines. That is a felony if you look at it in the Transportation Code or the Texas Penal Code. And this has been going on for years, and this needs to stop. Obviously, these 2 gentlemen, they're experienced. Well, there's a difference between experience and knowledge. I see these gentlemen lack the knowledge, and somebody needs to put a stop to this. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Stephen Harris. Is Mr. Harris here? All right, the next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning.
Morning, or afternoon.
Or afternoon, yes. The community property of Joe Billman and me is almost 80 acres of land with capital improvements. Our land was bought, paid for, and deeded to us from people named Narahara, Callison, Sosby, the Veterans Administration, Alan Shivers, Searcy, Steele, the estate of Homer Morris, and other Billman family members. In an action for divorce, the court determined our land had no value, could not be divided. The court gave no value to our community property, and the court gave no division of it between the 2 owners. Instead, the court appointed our son to manage our debt-free community property. The state certified a shell corporation named Billman Real Estate Ltd. to the court-appointed manager, our son. The court awarded our intact community property to the state-certified shell corporation. The court could have sold our community property at public auction to the highest bidder and divided the money between Joe and me. But the court cannot use a petition for divorce to just give away our private property for free to a state-certified shell corporation. The court supposedly sold a strip of our community property from the corporation, not from Joe and me. Who are the investors, the shareholders, selling the community property belonging to Joe and me? By law, our son's ownership in his parents' community property comes through his inheritance of it from his parents, not as manager for the court or agent of a state-certified shell corporation. That is the court deceiving his inheritance from him. For a divorce settlement, decision of the court was that in 15 future years, Joe and I could profit $650,000 in rent from our trailer park. The divorce settlement awarded by the court was a division of yet-to-be-earned $650,000, 41%, or $266,500 to me, and 59%, or $383,500 to Joe. This divorce settlement was affirmed by the 13th Appellate Court, but completion of this action never took place. Joe died. Existing law is that the case must be brought to closure by the court. To keep the court existing in the court claims to have lost jurisdiction of this case. The court did not lose jurisdiction to comply with the law. Compliance to the law brings the case to closure by releasing our community property, freeing me from police-enforced false imprisonment, arrest, trials, and charges of trespass on land that I own. For a divorce settlement, I was awarded Nothing. The court took all of my community property and the income it is producing. Texas is a community property state. I received for my community property not one red penny. The 2 trials for criminal trespass on land that I still own, I'm not all right with, and it absolutely does not comply with the laws of this nation or state. To deliberately entangle and indebt our debt-free real estate, inappropriate actions of the court, along with the empty corporation, also include an annuity deed of trust and a promissory note. Compliance with the law by closure of the lawsuit invalidates these court actions. The only people entitled to make claims against the valid deeds held by Joe and me are the people who actually sold this land to us. Joe and I are holding the valid deeds. Neither of us have sold any land. The estate of Joe Billman and I own the land. To accomplish the court's only responsibility in this court action, which was to divide our community property between Joe and me in a fair divorce settlement, nothing was done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, item number 7. Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner. Item 7A, 1 and 2, there is no action unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. For the time, given that we have such a long agenda, there's no action on item B, 1, 2, and 3. Item C, I'm asking the court to authorize our county judge to sign certificate of county judge of Hidalgo County, Texas, relating to Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation Education Revenue Bonds. These are Responsive Education Solutions Series 2014. There is no fiscal or financial impact to the county.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, I'm asking the court to accept the settlement agreement from Endeavor General Insurance Agency in the amount of $20,957.84, and this will settle a auto loss with one of our vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Was the rear end, verdad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm also asking the court to authorize me, the court's executive officer, to sign the power of attorney forms for title purposes in settlement of the total loss auto claim with Endeavor General Insurance Agency.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, all appropriate documentation is in place, so I'm asking the court to consider and approve United Blood Drive Services to set up a blood mobile at the Courthouse and Administration Building on the following dates. For this year, Wednesday, December 17th. Next year, Wednesday, March 18th, 2015. Wednesday, May 13th, 2015. And Wednesday, August 12th, 2015.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F and G are related and request an action. There are right-of-way issues. Item F, I'm asking the court to approve a pipeline permit for Valley Paving. It's a proposed open cut for an 18-inch RCP between Tower Road and Alamo Road in Wisconsin. They're replacing an 18-inch RCP at an elevation of 81.50.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The second right-of-way request is approval of a pipeline permit for Cantera Operating to open cut 6 miles north of Mile 7 from Jarachinas Road within the right-of-way east to west in Precinct 3.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, before I go to item H, I'm going to skip to item I, approval of 2015 proposed holidays. Judge, Commissioners, I am proposing the same holiday schedule we have for 2014 for 2015.
Valde.
Hold on, Valde. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Palacio had something here. I lost it, but here it is.
Okay.
The Columbus Day?
Yeah, I had it somewhere here. Hold on.
Yeah, see, we could change Columbus Day and substitute it.
Yeah, get rid of Easter.
Easter
on
Monday.
4/6, and include Columbus Day 10, 12, 15.
Okay, is that your motion?
Yeah,
That's the motion.
Okay.
What day is it, Columbus
Well, no,
Day?
you're going to do, it's on a Monday. 10, 12, 15 will be what, on Monday?
Hey, Judge, one of the reasons that, like the county clerk, the district clerk.
No,
the
we're going to do away with
tax
force.
assessor, they need a bank, and the banks are closed, so why open, you know?
Yeah,
So-
4/6, it'll be on a Monday. That's Monday after Easter, so.
So we're swapping.
Yeah, we're
We're
just
swapping.
swapping because Columbus Day is a national holiday.
Okay.
And it'll be on a Monday.
All right.
All right.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Monica, will you prepare the appropriate document? Okay, thank you. Going back to item H. Judge Commissioners, I asked to place this back on the agenda. We've discussed this before. It's discussion on county funeral escorts. Judge Commissioners, I have been talking to your individual offices personally and with the chiefs of staff. I have also discussed this issue with our Safety Director, Mr. Quintanilla. The issue at hand, again, is a liability issue. The funeral processions that we have. Back on December 4th, a couple years ago, there was discussion with respect to the county funeral escorts. There was discussion that we would get together with a firm that had represented us as a result of a claim from a funeral procession, Griffith and Garza. I do believe that Griffith and Garza ultimately did communicate with the assistant or the district attorney's office, but to that end, there was never a formal policy that was drafted to be brought back to Commissioner's Court. The discussion in the past has been that the court, because of the liability issue and the incidents and claims that have occurred in the past, discussion has been that we would not do funeral escorts.
Now, I don't think that's what we discussed.
No, no,
Yeah, I
no, that-
remember clearly that not only we do it, Howell County, statewide does it.
Right, no, that was,
Right.
that was discussion, and the court said, no,
Yeah.
no, because there is a need for that type of
There is
service.
a need for
Right,
it.
so I'm trying to give
The
the court
discussion we had trying to
some
get a
background
special
history.
insurance. at
Right.
one time
Right,
To cover for those particular funeral that we,
And either the families or the funeral companies were going to be paying for that insurance.
right. Well, it's not as practical, it's not very practical in the sense that we would be buying blanket insurance for a period. And then there is a premium that's paid. The County of Hidalgo would pay that premium, and then I don't know about the legality of charging the individuals
But you
against
got-
that premium
We
that's
have
been
to buy
purchased.
insurance, special
No, we
insurance
have,
for that?
well, we have blanket insurance, and I say blanket insurance loosely. We have insurance for those types of events. The request was there any insurance that was specific that would cover funeral processions? Well, the insurance we're talking about is a general liability from a vehicle standpoint. Vehicle liability insurance is what we're talking about. And so what I'm asking the court to consider today is for us to get together with the constable's offices and the chiefs of staff for the commissioners. We have a draft proposal that we bring back to court and have a policy in place that addresses funeral procession that would entail the number of units to be used at a funeral procession, the rate of speed that we would be using, or the rate of speed that these processions go by. Again, it's gotten to the point where it is a liability issue that I'm asking the court, or that I need to address.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that they've spoken to some of the municipalities to try to help them out, because I've seen it now in Mission
Right.
that the city is within the city limits, and then,
Right.
you know, sometimes,
Right,
not all
and
the
what-
time.
And you're correct, Commissioner, and what happens with the funeral processions is they start at the funeral house, or the funeral home, I'm sorry, the funeral home, and they go in through town, at times through the expressway, back into wherever the end cemetery is going to be at. So we are going through other jurisdictions doing these processions.
Well, how much did we pay in our last claim?
Judge,
About 100,000.
it was
our
more,
total.
it was more than 100,000. The
But
inch-
we paid all our SNR.
Oh, yes, we paid on
Which is
the last claim,
$100,000.
$100,000, and then our insurance carrier took over from there.
And we've had at least a couple of them in the last,
Four in the last 3-4 years, I believe.
In the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, we have had four major incidents.
7H.
And in the last 10, 15 years, we have had several funeral procession claims.
And we're going to keep on having them because traffic is going to be
Exactly.
And it's
getting
going to get worse and
worse.
worse, you know.
Exactly. So again, I'm asking the court's authority to go ahead and present and work with the constables and the chiefs of staff. Like I said, I have a proposed policy, but I want to run it by everyone. Obviously, the proposed policy is only going to work with respect or with the aid of the constable's office.
Well, you're going to have to bring the constables in
Right.
on that meeting and sit with them and see what you can do.
Exactly. So with the court's
Yeah.
permission, and I won't have anything for the following week, what we'll do is we'll schedule this week a meeting with the constable's office and your respective offices, and we should have something within 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you. It was just for presentation purposes at this point.
Excuse me. If we do have the constables do the funeral processions, do some charge and some not charge?
Well, I'm not sure, but we're going to meet with all of them and.
Right.
I know
Send
that.
them down.
I'll have a blanket
I know they get
thing,
paid,
will
but
you?
Virginia, I know they get paid, but that money goes into their fund for their cell phones and stuff like that.
No.
I don't know if the county can charge for it or not.
Well, I mean, if the constables are going to charge, make it straight across the board and where it goes being straight across the board.
But they don't keep the money for themselves personally. I think they use it for some
It goes
office-related expenses.
back into the program.
That's too open-ended, not good.
I agree with that, but that's where we're going to be trying to come up with a definitive policy.
Please do.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Okay, item 8, constables.
Good afternoon, Judge,
Good afternoon,
Commissioners.
sir.
I'm here on item 8A, requesting authorization for the county judge to execute the 2014 Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification Report.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Precinct 3.
Judge, Commissioners, Chief Deputy Rene Gonzalez for Precinct 3 Constable's Office. Today we are requesting authorization to surplus for trade 19 service handguns for purchase of new handguns through GT distributors.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, item 9 for the adult probation, there is no action today.
And what item?
Item
going-
9,
we're
adult
going to
probation,
10 now.
there is no action today, Judge.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
Under item 10A for the WIC Department, approval of the following personnel actions. Delete an LVN 2, slot 36, at $41,280, and create a clinic manager, slot 250, for $44,583, and the approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 10B for the tax office, approval of the following personnel actions. Delete slot 14, an accountant 3 at $44,583. Delete slot 38, bookkeeper 1 at $31,045. Delete slot 96, deputy clerk 1 at $26,014. Delete slot 106, deputy clerk 1 at $26,173. And delete slot 154, clerk 2 at $20,250.
Esther, all these positions are
Vacant.
vacant, right?
Yes, sir. And they want to create slot 162, an accountant 2 at $36,000. Create slot 163, deputy clerk 2 at $30,000. Create slot 164, deputy clerk 2 at $30,000. Create slot 165, administrative assistant 3 at $30,000. And to create slot 166, deputy clerk, clerk 2 at $21,906, and the approval of the revised salary schedule.
Is there any difference on money difference?
No, sir, so it's a wash.
For approval?
Second.
Are we having less positions then? Or
I'm sorry? You
or
want to
is
have...
it an equal amount of positions? My only concern is, are we doing this to give people raises?
No, sir.
All right.
They're just
5 and 5.
deleting the slots that they don't need, and they're creating what they actually need in the office.
But is there a net gain or loss of
No,
slots?
sir. No, it's an even wash. It just...
I'm looking at it, Judge, the one, they're deleting one for 44,000, and the highest they're
I didn't
opening
have
up
the
is
total amount.
36.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 11, our Sheriff's Office.
Hello, Judge, Commissioners. Richard is in our Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, on behalf of our Sheriff, Eddie Guerra. Under item 11A, it's requesting final approval by the Commissioners Court of an MOU between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and Precinct 2 Constable's Office, transfer of 2 vehicles through the equitable sharing. It was firstly brought up on October the 28th of this year. After legal counsel, let's mark out modifications and insert review, please. It was a typo.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
On item number 2 is the approval for the county judge as authorized official to sign the required document.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next, tax office.
Tax office.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Eva Mireles on behalf of Paul Villarreal, and the item we have on the agenda is just the approval for the revision of the interlocal contracts that we recently raised them by 5% of an increase in commissions for the mentioned entities in the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion second. I do have a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Do we have the same charge?
No, we actually, that's why we're bringing them to Commissioner's Court, because we recently revised all the interlocal contracts and we raised them by 5%. We actually raised them 5% increase than last year. We're increasing their fee as far as for our collections.
5%, Tito.
Better than nothing. There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
You. Item C.
Good afternoon. Brenda Salazar, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. I'm here to present a proclamation declaring November as National Diabetes Awareness Month here in Hidalgo County. Whereas November is National Diabetes Awareness Month and November 14th of every year is World Diabetes Day. And whereas the 2020 diabetes prevalence rate for Hidalgo County is projected to reach 22.9%, among the highest in the state of Texas. And whereas having diabetes increases a person's risk of nerve damage, amputation, heart disease, stroke, blindness, and kidney failure if uncontrolled. And whereas the risk of financial and physical burdens associated with diabetes and its related complications must be reduced. And whereas type 2 diabetes is a preventable and manageable disease, with a balanced diet, regular exercise, and healthy lifestyle choices. And whereas diabetes awareness education regarding prevention, detection, and self-management is essential to combating this debilitating disease in Hidalgo County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the month of November 2014 as Hidalgo County Diabetes Awareness Month, and encourages all Hidalgo County residents and employees to incorporate diabetes awareness, prevention, and self-management practices into daily family activities, and honor World Diabetes Day by wearing blue on Friday, November 14th, 2014.
Move for approval?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Item 13B, consideration and approval of contract for participation for outstation eligibility specialist in the healthcare facilities at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Medical Center, Mission Hospital, Rio Grande Regional Hospital, and McAllen Hospitals, which is McAllen Medical and Edinburgh Regional Medical Center. This is the annual agreement that we bring every year to have our staff at the hospitals. No changes, and there's no budgetary impact. to the county.
Move for approval?
Second.
And
There's
there-
a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
No action on 13C and D. Thank you.
Next item, Auburn County. Deanna?
Yes, Commissioner. Our first item on the agenda is requesting your exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262024A4.
Move for approval?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 14A2 is a presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of a ranking by Commissioners Court of three of the professional engineering firms. The first one ranked was Lefevre Engineering and Management Consulting, LLC, with a grade of 94.67. Tetsi Infrastructure Group with a grade of 90.33, and M. Garcia Engineering with a grade of 85.33. Would you like to rank them in that order?
Move for approval?
Second.
There's a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
14A, continuation is requesting the authority to negotiate a professional engineering service contract with the highest ranked firm of Lefevre Engineering.
Move for approval?
Second.
There's a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is requesting the approval of a budget and program amendment for the City of Westlake to its fiscal years 24 and 25 work plans. The amendment will add the following scope, which is the installation of water and sewer lines, as well as decreasing the public facilities line item and creating a public service for the public service for the library. The changes are reflected in your agenda.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C is a request for the approval of the Emergency Solutions Grant subrecipient agreements for year 27, which is 2014. The subrecipient agreements would be Catholic Charities in the amount of $133,726, Women Together Foundation in the amount of $133,726, $133,726, and Salvation Army in the amount of $167,630.20.
Move for approval?
Second.
There's a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D is a request on behalf of Precinct 1 requesting the authority to purchase fire station equipment for the Monte Alto Volunteer Fire Department. The amount of the purchase would be $10,708.39 from our membership and participation with the buy board.
Move for approval?
Second.
There's a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item E is on behalf of the City of Edcouch requesting approval and award of best and final negotiated contract for construction material testing services with L&G Engineering in the amount of $7,243.96.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Our final item is the approval of land acquisition parcel number 7 and parcel number 7A for the Delta Area Connector in the amount of $14,114.
Move for approval?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You got it.
Equal.
Thank you.
Item 15.
15.
Item number 15, Head Start.
I'll read the item. I believe it's the appointment of community representative for each member of the Commissioners Court to serve on the Hidalgo County Head Start. And the two pending members are from the county judge and myself. I'm going to bring that back, and I see the judge is out right now. We'll just bring this item back. Item 16A, the WIC, Norma Longoria.
No, he's going to bring it back when the judge is here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'm here to present the WIC FY 2015 grant, and we're requesting approval for the county judge to sign the FY 2015 WIC grant number 2015-047381 between Hidalgo County Health and Human Services WIC program and the Department of State Health Services in the total amount of $12,214,646 for the period of 10/1/14 to 9/30/15.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second on 16A1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number
Item
2 is a requesting of the approval of the county judge to sign the Department of State Health Services certification regarding lobbying certification for contracts, grants, loans, and cooperative agreements.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second of 16.2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And 3, requesting approval for the county judge to sign the Fiscal Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act certification for fiscal year 2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Item 17A, Precinct 1.
Request approval, I'm sorry, Raul Lozano, Commissioner A.C. Cuellar's office, requesting approval of payment to GCEQ for in the amount of $1,250 for the renewal of the yearly permit. This is for the Delta Lake Park sanitary sewer plant.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second of 17A. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries. Item 18A.
Go.
Don't drop the ball.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Auditor, and Steve. Lovely day.
No.
18A, 1, requesting approval of interlocal agreement between the City of Penitas and the County of Hidalgo to reconstruct and overlay a portion of Chihuahua Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on 18A1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2, approval of interlocal agreement project in accordance with the Texas Government Code Section 791-014 to provide reconstruction and paving of the portion of Chihuahua Road.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 19A.
A ver if you can top that.
I can never top that one. Commissioners, item 19A is the Precinct 4 Road and Bridge, 1200, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for Precinct 4, one-third paving revenues.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second of 19A1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19A2 is the approval of 2014 appropriation of funds into Precinct 4 Road Maintenance Program 007 in the amount of $80,667.33.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 20A.
Morning, Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 20A is approval of fixed costs and expenses related to certificates of obligation, Series 2014, and limited tax refunding bond Series 2014C, and tax note Series 2014. For computer structuring and miscellaneous expenses, we're recommending approval of expenses of $39,000, and for POS preparation and printing of $13,500.
Commissioner, we haven't had a chance to take a look at this document. I don't think it was attached to the agenda.
No, that's correct.
So-
This will be a fixed cost for these services.
So we would like to request that.
If we can
no
have it
action
approved, subject
and-
to auditor review.
Okay.
Move for approval, subject to audit review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second of 20A. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 20B is discussion, consideration, and approval to establish a change fund in accordance with Texas Local Government Code, Section 130.902, at each of the 4 precinct administrative offices in the amount of $100 each for the Hidalgo County sanitation permits after all county auditor requirements are completed.
Approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 20B1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 20B2 is discussion, consideration, and approval to establish East Precinct's Administrative Office as the new collection point for these sanitation permits.
Approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
And item 20B3 is discussion, consideration, and approval to authorize the collection of funds for the Hidalgo County sanitation permits in the month of December, which will be effective 1/1/2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second of 20B3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 20C is approval of ACH payment to the Department of Health and Human Services via pay.gov. And this is for the county's 2014 Affordable Care Act transitional reinsurance fee, and that amount is $408,933. This will be due January 15th of next year.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second of 20C. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And for item 20D, 1A and B, we'll be requesting no action.
No action of 20B1.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item 21, purchasing.
Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department, 21A1. This is A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding procurement requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A7. It's going to be proprietary software.
Move for approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second, Judge.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B is approval to purchase through POs and agreements, if applicable, for online research services with LexisNexis, including but not limited to the following: Hidalgo County elected offices, departments, programs, or agencies, that is, the district judges.
And first one for purchase?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2 is approval of amendment to interlocal agreement with the City of Edinburgh for the use of council chambers facility for Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meetings to reflect a uniform 30-day termination clause throughout the entire document. There were two conflicting amounts of days.
Move for
This will
approval.
just...
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3 is going to be done by Mr. Guerra and purchasing staff. 3, A, B, and C. I will resume on item B.
Marty, you want to continue? I don't see Valde here
Okay.
on the other
Let me
items.
go on
just
to
so that
item
while
B.
we're waiting for him.
Okay, B1, it's Precinct 1, acceptance and approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between County of Hidalgo and City of Weslaco for the provision of joint efforts for the improvements of Border Avenue.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval of the ILA, the interlocal agreement project, maintenance and improvements to Border Avenue from Mile 5 North to Mile 6 North 18th Street, whereas the county and the city agree to share the cost based on territory pertaining to each authority.
Move
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2, acceptance and approval of the following work authorizations as submitted by Millennium Engineers Group Incorporated through contract number 309 for the provision of construction materials, engineering, and testing firms as follows. A, work authorization 1, mile 12.5 road, FM 1015 to mile 2 improvements. The amount $16,613.50 through assigned requisition as posted, $265,879.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, work authorization number 2, mile 3.5 north, mile 5 to mile 6 improvements project in the amount of $16,613.50 through requisition 265,878.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Should I continue?
Judge?
Yes,
To
go
finish
ahead.
the rest?
Just to
Okay.
finish.
Item C, 1 for
One more.
precinct 2, approval of the following requisitions listed for operating expenditures exceeding $25,000 as posted on the agenda for Central Fence and Supply and Frontera Materials Incorporated.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2, approval of the following invoices listed for previously approved purchase orders for operating expenditures exceeding $25,000. That is Tire Centers LLC and Holt.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Okay, Marty,
Aye.
we're going back.
Okay.
to that number,
Okay, I'll
number
resume with...
A3.
All right.
No, we need three.
Down in front of A3.
Good afternoon, Darlene Bencourt, Vanji Garcia for Hidalgo County Purchasing Department. On item number 3A, we're requesting presentation for discussion, consideration, and action in connection with the RFPQ numbered 14-333-1015 VYG Delinquent Tax Collection Services Project, including but not limited to the following. A is a presentation by the two firms participating responding to Hidalgo County's RFPQ Delinquent Tax Collection Services and possible questions from the Evaluation Committee, which is the Commissioners Court, Judge and Commissioners, and we will select which firm will be making the first presentation by drawing lots.
Right, and with that being said, Judge, I'm going to ask if you would
Do what?
draw the lot.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to ask them to step out?
Yes, we'll ask the other party to step out, Judge. It's sealed.
We will ask the firm that will be presenting second to step out while the first firm makes their presentation, vice versa.
Unless one
It's right there. Pick one.
I hope you did.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's see, there's a football pot.
This is the first one.
The first presenter is
Dale como el TV, hombre.
a ver, necesito ver a White. Is Purdue Brandon?
Okay. We ask that the
Yeah.
second firm, which is
We would ask that
Linebarger.
the members of the other firm please step outside.
¿Se oye o no se oye?
Darlene.
Valde, is there a speaker outside?
No, there is no speaker outside.
All right.
Sam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mike, what are the criteria?
How can I get it to the desktop? Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
Valde, do we have scoring sheets that we're going to be going by?
The one in
Commissioner, do you have your...
I got my packets here, but
Que habíamos dicho.
Is it on?
Okay.
They're in here, this one, Valde?
Cinco tables.
Yes, they're in there.
No.
Here you go, Josh. Yes.
I got mine.
You got yours? Okay.
Valde, is there a specific amount of time?
Yes, Judge. As we've done in the past, 10 minutes.
All right.
And with that being said, if we do go over the 10 minutes, then we will allow the same overage to the next
All right.
presenter.
Can you all see the presentation as well, or?
Yeah,
'cause I know
we-
you're seeing
yeah, we
something
got it
different than
here.
I am. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes, whenever you are, Hiram.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here before you to present our presentation. And we also would like to thank you for allowing us to serve you as your delinquent tax firm for the last 8 years. I would like to present your Hidalgo County project team. I am the project manager and co-managing partner at the McAllen office. Thelma Bandu, my partner in the McAllen office, is also my co-managing attorney. John Banks, my partner from the Austin office, spearheads her bankruptcy. Jonathan Gatz is an associate attorney at our McAllen office. Ray Palacios serves as our local counsel. Romeo Cantu is our communications director and litigation manager, and Roger Gonzalez, our call center manager. In addition to that leadership team, our office in McAllen counts with a staff of 36, including call center staff, legal assistants, and other staff. I want to stress that all of this team just works on Hidalgo County accounts. We don't collect anything else in Zapata County or Starr County. It's just Hidalgo. Our team also counts with a 10-member IT support team. Our methodology, the heart of it is our work directly with the taxpayer, our personal approach to collecting delinquent taxes. To that end, our McAllen office counts with a bilingual telephone call center. We also send specialized mass and individual mailings to our taxpayers. Another indicator of our personal approach to collecting taxes is our site visits. We visit the taxpayers at their homes. If the delinquent taxpayer is a business, we visit them at the business and try to get them to pay their delinquent taxes. We also conduct personal interviews, and we represent you in property seizures. We represent you in litigation, tax warrants, tax sales, and tax resales, and we file abstracts on judgment on your behalf. We also represent you in bankruptcies nationwide at no cost to you. We have a very successful tax sale and resale program. Since 2007, we have collected over $785,000 through tax sales and resales. And just last week, we had a record-breaking sheriff's tax resale that generated almost $1 million for all the taxing entities involved. Understanding the project, we understand the project. We have been collecting for Hidalgo County since 2007, and we have collected over $121 million in base tax, penalty, and interest for Hidalgo County. How did we get there? Each bar on that graph represents the last 7 fiscal years for Hidalgo County. Over $121 million collected for Hidalgo County. A strong delinquent tax collection program improves current collections. The bar to the far left in red represents the last year that the Linebarger firm collected for you. At that time, collections were at 89.47%. The following year, 06-07, Purdue began collecting for Hidalgo County. And as you can see, collections have improved. Current collections, and again, these are current collections, collections that occurred before June 30th. In fact, the last year this last fiscal year, your collections were at 93.57%. That is almost a 4% improvement over the last year that the Linebarger firm collected for you. Now, 4% might not seem like a lot to some people, but when you consider that you have a levy that's $163 million, that's over $6 million in revenue. No two taxing entities are exactly the same. However, Hidalgo County and South Texas College are very similar. Every taxpayer that pays Hidalgo County pays South Texas College. This is a 12-year history of the collections between both of those entities. The blue is Hidalgo County, and the green is South Texas College. The first 4 years to the left represents when Hidalgo County and STC were both represented by the Linebarger firm. As you can see, during those years, collections were very similar for both entities. Sometimes the county had better collections, and sometimes STC had better collections. In 07-08, the Purdue firm took over sole collections over Hidalgo County, again, the blue. As you can see, every year thereafter, collections for Hidalgo County have been superior to South Texas College. Now, South Texas College and Hidalgo County do not have the same fiscal year. Having different fiscal years affects collection rates. What we have done is we have calculated what the collections for South Texas College would have been had they had a July through June fiscal year like the county. These numbers have been verified by the tax office to be correct. The bars in blue represents Hidalgo County. Every single year, Hidalgo County has had a better collection rate than South Texas College. I have estimated what what the loss in revenue would have meant for South Texas College had they had the same collection rate as South Texas College, for Hidalgo County, had they had the rate of South Texas College. Hidalgo County would have lost $1,666,000 in base tax, and when you factor in penalties and interest, it would have been a whopping $2,253,000 in lost revenue for Hidalgo County in the last 4 years. We have a proven track record. This graph here has the collections for the city of FAR for the last 7 fiscal years. The bar to the far left in red represents the last year that city of FAR was collected by Linebarger. That year, collections were 32.54%. In 08-09, the following year, the city of FAR switched to Purdue, and collections jumped to 35.49%. The rest of the bars in blue represents the years that the Purdue firm collected for the city of FAR completely. The average for those 3 years is 35.48%. In 2012-2013, the city of FAR went back to Linebarger, and collections plummeted down to 28.35% that year. And the following year, the year that just ended right now, this past month, 27.16%. La Joya Independent School District, different entity, same result. Bar to the far left, Linebarger collected for La Joya. The ones in blue, it's Purdue collecting for La Joya ISD. La Joya switches back to Linebarger in 2011-2012. Collections again dropped to 29.26, followed by 26.32 the following year. And the 2013-2014 year, La Joya goes back to Purdue, and collections jump back up above 30% that year. Purdue is the right choice for Hidalgo County. Our staff of attorneys and other staff have over 50 years of experience in the delinquent tax field. Our experience is unparalleled. We have been collecting for Hidalgo County for the last 8 years. Our methodology is unparalleled. It has yielded the best results for Hidalgo County, and that's a personal approach. We do follow up with letters, personal visits. We handle your litigation, but we have the best collections for the county. We understand the project. In the last 7 fiscal years, we have collected over $121 million for Hidalgo County. We understand the struggles that your taxpayers are going through. And we know that you have a duty and you want to do what's best for your taxpayers, bring the best value for your taxpayers. We have new efficiencies in the way we collect, and we are now ready to reduce our fee from the 15% to 12.5%, saving your taxpayers additional money. And at this point, I pass it on to my partner, John Banks, to talk a little bit more about that.
Hey, my only question here, on the 12.5%, is that going to be everything? City, schools, county, or just?
No, this would be the county, just the county.
Only our client. No, but I mean, all your clients.
No, just the county.
No, but that's what I mean. What about the other clients? Is it, no?
I don't think they're saying that, or not.
No, that's not what we're...
Not the other clients?
Not at this time, Commissioner. Not at this time.
Judge, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk to you. And from the earlier slide, you know that I head up the bankruptcy department and the staff that collect your taxes that are involved in bankruptcies. I'm not here today, though, wearing a bankruptcy lawyer hat. I asked EROM to give me an opportunity to come in and talk to the governing body, to the commissioners, and to the judge, because for the past 17 years, I've collected taxes in Hidalgo County. And back in 2006, I came with some other faces, but Purdue came up, and we proposed to collect taxes for Hidalgo County. And there's still a couple folks on the court today that were there and present in 2006. And one of the things that we made promises to is the court 8 years ago is that we were going to be respectful to your taxpayers, that we were going to be professional, that you wouldn't have a line of folks coming in to complain about Nazi stormtroopers coming and beating our doors down to collect taxes. I don't think we ever embarrassed you. I don't think we ever embarrassed the folks at the tax office with whom we have a very good working relationship. And quite frankly, I'd be very disappointed if we had taxpayers coming in and said that we mistreated them. Not that we ever acted as a doormat. I think we've been very firm, yet we've been compassionate and understanding. And 6 years, 8 years ago, when we came to you, I know that from the questions that were asked from the Commissioners Court, that it was very, very important that whatever decision was reached, that it benefited the taxpayers of Hidalgo County. That was first and foremost. And I will tell you, when we came in back in '06 and we offered up a 15% service contract, I don't think we could quantify, I don't think we knew for certain the impact, how much savings there would be for the taxpayers. As we look back, as we gather information from the tax office today, we can quantify those numbers. The savings to the taxpayer has been very substantial, over $2 million, and this is information that's derived directly from Mr. Vidal, Ms. Mireles, their folks at the tax office that we work with. Over $2 million, and that is hard dollars. That is money that folks have worked for, paid, and rather having that money diverted to law firms or to administrative expenses, it is the savings. The savings has been substantial. That was at 15%. And one of the reasons, and this, Commissioner Flores, kind of dovetails with what you asked about, what we saw back in '06 is we saw, well, '07, '08, '09, we saw a ripple effect. Everyone was at 20%. That was the accepted attorney's fee. We came in and we said, we'll do you a good job. We won't discount our services. We won't give you substandard performance. We'll give you the best that we've got at 15%. We did. We achieved collection percentages unparalleled to any before. Other entities looked at it and went, well, let's rethink our position. And I don't know if there's still a 20% contract in Hidalgo. I'll say this, virtually everyone that I know of has gone to 15%. The 12.5%, I want to emphasize one thing, and that is we're not coming here and doing a cost-cutting, oh my gosh, we're going to, throw out quality, we're going to throw out performance. We have developed efficiencies. For example, we're paperless. Over the last few years, we've gone to what's called DocuWare. It allows us to perform all of our functions paperlessly. And I'm not a technological whiz, but we have plenty of them that are in our office. And I just know that everything I want to do is right there in front of me. Postage through the courts no longer have to do certified mail. There's a number of things that have allowed efficiencies to occur in our office. The main thing is that as we prepared for this proposal, we said, if we're going to continue to provide service, we want to keep the business. It's important to keep the business, but we don't want anyone to think that we're going to provide less of a service, provide less performance, provide less attention to the taxpayer of Hidalgo than we have in the past. And you have my commitment, you have and I speak on behalf of the project team, Thelma Bandu, Jonathan Garza, Iram, Roger, Madi, many of whom are in here today. You're not going to have less performance. What you're going to have is a 12.5% fee that's going to result in hundreds of thousands of dollars of additional savings. And that's at the county. And Commissioner Flores, to again fall back on the question that you asked, who knows where the other entities will eventually end up. But I suspect if history repeats itself, there's going to be substantial savings with a ripple effect that will benefit your constituents. And again, there's folks that you can say, they haven't set it as a priority. They need to do something differently. But there are a lot of folks who are genuine and they're just having hardships and they need that additional break and they need that additional dollar to go to their taxes and not to the law firm. We're going to propose the 12.5%. We think that on our own merit with the numbers that we've got, we've done you a great job. We're not holding our head. We're not holding a hat out to ask and beg for for this contract. We think that we deserve it. We think we've worked hard to earn your trust and your confidence. We hope that, as you had indicated in '06, that you can appreciate the fact that we've made every effort to pass on savings and efficiencies that we've enjoyed and benefited from to your taxpayer. We appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. I think that I probably exceeded the 10 minutes.
Keep it track.
So I'm going to shut it down and open it up for question and answer. Again, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you.
Any questions? No, there's no questions.
It's not that we're not pleased with it. I just want to commend you on the job that you've done. For you all to consider going down a lower rate, providing the same service was very important to me when we first decided on how we were going to do this. It's a difficult decision, but I thought at the end of the day, the most important thing or the benefit we must always keep in consideration as a taxpayer. So I appreciate y'all's consideration on lowering the rate.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks again for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
very
the
much.
work
Happy
that you've
birthday.
done.
Thank you.
I'm not far behind.
There may be some questions after the next presentation, so you may want to stick around.
We sure will, sir.
How long was it, Baldi?
Total of 15 minutes,
All right.
24 seconds.
Out of respect, we're granting that amount of time to the
Yes,
other
sir.
firm.
Yes. I'll go ahead and state that when they come up.
Valdo, they attached their scoring.
Sheet as well? Yes.
Pues de la empanada, Tito.
¿Quiere café o chocolate?
Where's the coffee? Balde.
Again, I had it. They're bringing it. Yeah, yes, sir.
We're next.
Yes, we've got two members of the court stepped out for a little break.
Yes.
Well, we need to
Scan.
set up.
Oh, okay, that'll give you time to set up.
Tell me you were watching Commissioners Court. ¿Verdad?
Yeah.
They could have.
They could have.
No. That's Steve. I said, don't tell me you were watching.
If I leave this on here, is it going to mess up the...
Can you move it a little more? We can get that guy out of the way.
no me los dejas acá. Cumpleaños, yo los arreglo.
You getting ready? Let me know when you're ready.
Piénsale.
Lucy.
Ponte la mano aquí, el corazón.
Okay, then let me just go ahead and let you all know that the presentation is a maximum of 10 minutes with the court's discretion to allow an overage. There was an overage in the last presentation, so your total presentation time is the first allotted 10 minutes, an additional 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So you have 15 minutes and 24 seconds for your presentation.
It's about as fast as a horse can run on 300 yards, Tito.
Yes, it should be on. Stan.
Tap it a little bit. No, it's off. There you go.
Okay, just let us know when you're ready.
Ready? We're ready.
All right,
Hidalgo
whenever you're
County-
ready.
Hidalgo County needs a change in delinquent tax collection firms. In the next 10 minutes, you will see that Linebarger Goggin is the best staffed and most experienced firm. We've assembled a great team, and you'll hear directly from people who will be serving you. Our ability to commit resources and make collections more efficient are unmatched. Good afternoon, I'm Lucy Canales, and as a capital partner of my firm, I manage South Texas operations. Delinquent tax collections is all that I have done for the last 25 years. Thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation. Our notebook addresses each of the criteria requested in the RFPQ. The notebook is right here for reference. Criteria 1, staffing of the project team. We are a team of experienced and responsible attorneys performing our jobs at the highest ethical and professional levels. With me today is my partner Gustavo Martinez, John David Franz, Michael Cano, and Kelly Rivera Salazar. No other firm in Hidalgo County matches the experience our attorneys in delinquent tax collections. Our law firm has served Texas taxing entities for over 38 years and is the largest, most successful firm of its kind in the government receivables business. We've been in Edinburgh for 27 years. We have 43 full-time staff members who collectively have over 460 years of tax and collection experience. The strength of our team, though, is found in our personnel. We are staffed with experience, courteous, professional, and bilingual employees. Half of our staff have been with us for more than 10 years. All are loyal, dedicated, and have a great attitude, especially when it comes to giving back to the communities in which we all live. Our project team, including attorneys, has over 740 years of tax collection experience, and this experience will make a big difference in the collections of Hidalgo County delinquent taxes. Criteria 2, allow me to talk about the experience and the ability of our firm to commit resources. Our technology and computer services is well above anything offered by our competitors. Our firm has invested over $60 million in technological infrastructure. We have a standalone IT center where 130 personnel, including 45 programmers, work daily to develop software to enhance our tax program. Our unique proprietary software allows our staff to answer any questions on an account at any time from anywhere. ACT, Linebarger's proprietary tax office software division, has been supporting tax office operations for numerous years. We will provide Hidalgo County with ACT software at a reduced price as stated in our RFP, as well as all hardware. We operate a local call center and one in San Antonio as backup. An example of our software development is seen in our response to Paul Villarreal's request to reduce manual payments. We went from manual receipts like this to an electronic data process. Since January of 2014, our office has processed over $6.9 million on behalf of our clients. We went from this to electronic data processing. Criteria 3, in response to methodology, let me show you how we do our work. The plan for the county includes 10 mailings throughout the year addressed to every delinquent account. In addition, we send out several smaller mailings aimed at special targeted accounts.
Let's hear from one of our staff members about mailings. They're supposed to have the volume.
They're looking at it, so.
Technology.
It worked on Friday when we were here running through.
Okay, I'll.
Happens to the best.
Right.
Channel
We
4,
still-
Channel 5,
No.
all the channels.
We'll be fine. They're stopping it, so. Can you rewind her? Let's hear from one of our staff about the mailings. We did have this set up Friday.
Tito, what'd you do when you went back here? Did you get a wire?
That's technical.
Valdez, it's not counting their time, is it?
Technical difficulties.
Over. Be easier to bring her in.
Be faster to bring her in.
Bring her in person.
Come on.
Technical difficulties.
Look good, man. Maybe you can paraphrase what she is telling us.
Read lips. Is it not going to work? Praise Jesus. Phone campaigns. The next phase of our program is contacting taxpayers by phone, and it's extremely successful. Let's hear from an area manager. Another component of our collection effort involves personal visits to properties and businesses for the purpose of making face-to-face contact with taxpayers. Our litigation team is managing over 3,500 lawsuits on behalf of our clients.
This is our litigation team. You're looking at over 100 years' experience of tax litigation under the supervision of our attorneys.
We also take pride in helping our taxpayers settle our cases prior to judgment, and we're also ready to do it for Hidalgo County.
Our tax warrant staff takes the necessary action to seize property, if necessary, in order to preserve and secure the payment of your tax liens. The tax sale and resale staff will conduct numerous tax sales throughout the year. Let's hear from one of our tax sale managers.
I have worked at Linebarger for nearly 20 years. I currently lead the tax sale and resale team, where we work closely with taxpayers to avoid the foreclosure of their property.
we acknowledge that it is important to be respectful, courteous, and understanding to all taxpayers. I hope to bring my vast experience in helping Hidalgo County.
Our team has collected over $6.9 million for our clients over the last 3 years in the tax sale resale department. Lastly, our taxpayer assistance program meets personally with every taxpayer. The goal here is not to just serve the county as an entity, but to serve its citizens. Taxpayer assistance is the cornerstone in this endeavor.
These are a few of our taxpayer bays. When a taxpayer comes in, they're able to meet in privacy with an area manager to discuss their account. Their payments are accepted and processed with the county tax office by next business day.
Criteria 4, at Linebarger, we understand the importance of consistent collections. Let's hear from one last staff member.
I have been employed with Linebarger since December 2009. I have grown up a lot in the past 5 years, and so have my responsibilities at the firm. I know my job is important. I understand the need to reach out to each and every taxpayer to collect the taxes that are rightfully due to our clients. This is money that goes straight back into our communities, our cities, and our schools. At Linebarger, we work very hard to satisfy the needs of our clients, and I hope we can do the same for Hidalgo County.
Just as Gio stated, we understand and are cognizant of the importance of collecting as many dollars as you can on behalf of Hidalgo County. We represented you for over 18 years, and 22 of us were on that Hidalgo County team. We know Hidalgo County because we represent many taxing jurisdictions within the county. We know the county is one of the fastest growing areas in Texas. Let our experienced staff keep up with the demands and to maximize collections on behalf of the county. We are going to aggressively work the county by precincts, and we'll have pay stations in the precincts for taxpayer convenience. County delinquent tax collections have dropped, so something must change. In line with this change, here is John David Franz, who has joined our team and will continue with the presentation.
You okay, Gonzo? Okay. What needs to change? This needs to change. Over the last 3 fiscal years, you'll note that 10 out of the 12 quarters have been down, which means if you look at a July to September quarter, over the last 3 fiscal years, over that same time period, it's dropped twice and gone up once. October to December dropped 3 times over 3 years. January to March, up in 2012, down in 13, down in 14, and the April to June quarter has dropped for 3 consecutive years. We've got the team assembled, and we're prepared to reverse this trend. Now, let's look at what's happened over the last 4 fiscal years. Collections have been steadily dropping at Hidalgo County. These are base taxes, July through June collections, and the source is your Hidalgo County Tax Office. There's a downward trend, and again, we've assembled an experienced and dedicated team, unmatched experience with lawyers, and we're prepared to reverse this trend. Next chart. This one's interesting. If you look at the last 2 years that Linebarger had this account, Linebarger served you for, I think, 18 years. And if you look at the 2-year average, it was a 34.52% collection rate. This was the percentage of the delinquent tax rate that was collected the last 2 years that they had 100% control of this account. If you look at the last 2 fiscal years with your current provider, you'll notice that the average is 31.32%, a significant drop in the collection rate. What's even more telling and more significant is if you look down at the bottom at what we're going to highlight in yellow, the $28 million delinquent tax roll balance when Linebarger had it in 04 through 06, and $33 million with your current provider. As the roll grows, your collection rate should grow. As a roll shrinks, your collection rate typically shrinks. That's not the case here. We've assembled an experienced team. Many of the collection people that were working on the county account, middle managers and managers, are now with us at Linebarger. So again, it's important to note that over the last 2 years, you've collected a lower percentage of a bigger pie than the Linebarger firm did in 04 and 06. All right, let's talk about fees. Our proposal is 15%. As you know, there is no cost to the county, and there's no cost to the 93.57% of the taxpayers who pay their taxes on time. 15% is a reasonable, it is a fair fee, it is customary in Hidalgo County, and it is the fee that this honorable court has authorized for this service for the last 7 years. Keep in mind that, as Ms. Canales mentioned to you, we're going to have collection stations in each precinct. Each precinct is going to have a place where taxpayers from your respective precincts can come in and visit with one of our staff members, can get information, we can educate them on deferrals, on just anything that they might need. It's going to cut travel time to either McAllen or Edinburgh, and obviously the expense incurred in traveling to one site. So we're excited about that. Choosing Linebarger means that Hidalgo County is going to get unmatched experience, the latest in technology as it relates to tax collection, and an in-depth knowledge of your county. You get the benefit of the most experienced bilingual staff, people like Mariel.
Día a día nos encontramos con clientes que pasan por situaciones económicas difíciles. Aquí tratamos de ayudar lo más que podemos, pero al mismo tiempo cumplimos con las exigencias de nuestros clientes. Estamos listos para trabajar para el condado de Hidalgo.
The staff at Linebarger gets it. We apologize for the sound issues, but people that were presented to you were the people that are actually going to perform much of the work. People like Anissa, Sergio, Shannon, Sophie, Chris, Gio, and Mariel. These people take pride in the work that they perform, and their attitude makes a big difference. And attitude will make a big difference in the service that we provide to you. You've heard from our staff about how they look forward to serving Hidalgo County. They are excited and motivated to perform this service and to show you what they can do. We ask that you give them and give us the opportunity to reverse these downward trends and to become your delinquent tax collection service providers.
In closing, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation, and we're willing to answer any questions that the court may have.
I know that 8 years, whatever it was, that that when you used to collect for the county, one of the things that you argued was, if you don't hire us, you're going to have to wind up paying Purdue some kind of $300,000 or $400,000 for some computer service.
That's from what you talked about earlier, that act, what is it?
The ACT.
I talked about that. It's the ACT, the tax software that we provide Hidalgo County.
Has that amount changed, and are you still willing to provide that service? Last
Yes,
time you
I
mentioned that it was
mentioned
free of charge.
I mentioned in my presentation that it was at a reduced rate, and it was stated in the RFP.
What is the reduced
Which
rate?
is, what rate, or is it?
From 365 down to 200,000, plus providing new hardware and printers for over 100 employees of the tax office.
And if, say for some reason, somebody else gets, the other company gets it, how much is the charge going to be? We're still using that same software.
Right, we're paying, or the county's paying extra to use your software, right? Or
Correct.
they used to anyway, I'm not sure.
Correct.
I don't know if they're still doing it.
Yes,
Still
they
do?
are.
Yeah. How much is your charge to them if they get it?
To the county, because the county's paying, it's 365,000
You reduce?
to 200,000. And then all the new hardware and the printers provided for the county to enhance the program.
Back in 2006, it was like 30,000 or so.
Huh?
I think back in 2006, or prior to 2006, I think it was in the tune of like 30,000 a year.
No, it was
or so.
300
No,
and
it
some,
was
I
free,
remember.
back then,
No,
they
it was
didn't
not free,
charge us.
Judge.
So, right now it's 365 and you're gonna drop it to 200?
Correct.
Yeah, because back then they had the contract.
Yeah, back then,
When it went to the other
the county
people-
paid, but it was, I want to say 30, 40,000. Whenever the contract went to Purdue, then it went up to 300 and some odd thousand per
I
year.
believe that could be discussed in the negotiation process. Certainly.
If I may, and you've been in the audience several times when it's been discussed by Commissioners Court. And there was a great degree of discussion on how we were going to do this process and presentations and all the components to how we were going to grade. In there, I'm certain you've heard my plea to the board members as well as my plea to the different groups that what was most important was the rate for me, and being the fact that the same reason what happened in 2008, where our taxpayer, we represent them at the end of the day, and I see your members and they're personal dear friends of mine, and I still emphasize price and the lesson of a burden to our taxpayer. These are people that you deal with every day who are potentially losing their homes, and I know that there's no way you can discount your fee legally. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what I was hoping for, and there would be much consideration on the rate, and I know it came in at 15%. John had discussed that he felt very comfortable with the rate, and that's what the rate standard should be. Although in the past it was merely 15 to 20%. Now the rate standard has been 15. That's the difficult thing that I have, and it's nothing personal. It's just at the end of the day, I really believe that our full focus is our taxpayers. It's not a burden we spend. Now, I know we save $165,000, but what does a taxpayer save with the reduced rate? And that's why it's very difficult for me.
Well, just to maybe give you some insight, if you look at the total delinquent tax accounts that are in Hidalgo County, there's 44,583 delinquent accounts. Of those, 32,879 of those, which is about 73% of the roll, owe $500 or less.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking about the rate and helping the taxpayer, the delinquent taxpayer, it's a nominal difference if somebody were to go lower. In my experience in this industry, there's only one entity that I know that is at below 15% throughout the whole state of Texas.
Right.
There was two prior, but what happened is that services were cut. I mean, some of the services that we provided for this fee include bankruptcy all over the United States if we have to. We do a lot of taxpayer information. We do a lot of education of taxpayers. When we go and do those on-site visits, I mean, it's cumbersome to go do on-site visits here in the middle of July and August in the heat, but we also are able to educate taxpayers. There's many taxpayers that do not know they can have an over 65 exemption or a homestead exemption. So it's also an educational service that we do on behalf of the taxpayers.
Right, and I'm just trying to allow you to have some empathy towards us, where we represent 200,000 residents in our district, and the one thing they're saying is, here you have a chance to give us a break. And that's why I have difficulty when it comes down to it. I also go back to the presentation that was done earlier versus the one you were done. You can make arguments with the numbers all day long. I think at the end of the day, Lineberger did a great job and is doing a great job for all the government entities you serve. Purdue, no different. They've done an exceptional job for the county, no different. Services are being rendered, collections are being done. At the end of the day, what I looked at, and I'm just giving you my perspective, is the best that we can do. What is the best we can do for the taxpayer themselves,
Yeah,
And it's hard to look at it as just the government, but it's really hard. I got to look at it as an individual taxpayer.
And again, we looked at it from the standpoint that nearly 94% of the taxpayers in the county pay their taxes on time. So we're dealing with about 6% of the population, and of that number, 73% owe under $500. So we ran the numbers, and each percentage discount on fees, if somebody was to propose 14%, 13%, you're talking about $3 per percentage point out of a $500 account. So the way we look at it is having 4 precinct collection stations. You make it more accessible. Somebody in La Jolla doesn't have to drive to McAllen, they go to Mission. Somebody in San Manuel can drive to Edinburgh rather than McAllen. You're going to save more than that on gasoline. And the cost of these precinct offices hopefully would help the taxpayer. We're going to bear the burden of those 4 different offices, one in each precinct, and it's our expectation and our hope that the taxpayer is going to be better off because they have someplace closer to have their questions answered.
Right.
But we are very cognizant. You won't find more ardent supporters for low taxes and reasonable attorney's fees. 15% is a reasonable fee. It's a fair fee, and we have an excellent team. We have professionals. We have top-notch service, and a 15% fee for that is an excellent fee.
The other point I'd like to make, which I
Before
don't
you make
have...
another point, on that issue of the 15%, are you in fact, in your proposal committing to 15 from here on until, whenever you keep on collecting from the
Yes.
county, if it's awarded?
It's a set fee
I remember
for
last
the
time
terms
they
of the
tried coming
contract.
in. Last time they tried coming in and upping it to 20%.
No, it's for the
length of the
amount,
contract.
for
What
the length of the
about-
contract.
Is there room for negotiation on the 355 or something?
The what?
The 300 and,
The act.
the service, the act?
software.
Yes.
You want to charge 200, is there room for negotiation
Yes,
from the
sir.
200?
Yes, there is.
Can you go back to the same price that, back when he mentioned?
Yeah, but I don't think that is part of this proposal, is it? Your tax software is not part of this proposal that you make.
Yeah, but it'll be a savings to the county versus,
Yeah.
No,
Is
but
it?
it,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
On the next phase, though, when we're negotiating,
Judge, I don't think you could do that legally from an RFP standpoint. Whatever was presented is and that's what I just asked legal counsel.
That's correct, Judge. They already submitted the proposal and it stands.
it can't be changed, Steve?
Can't be.
Our understanding is that this process here is for a ranking, and then we will get with the attorney and negotiate a final contract if we are ranked first. So
that was my impression, but Steve says otherwise.
well, let's keep in mind, though...
This is not an RFP, though, this is a request for qualifications,
Correct.
No, it's an RFP with Q.
With a Q.
Yeah, but the P was the proposal on the rate, only the 15% rate, not the tax software or anything else. Right,
Well,
Steve?
let's keep in mind, though, there is a separate contract
Right, that's
with
what
the
I'm saying.
ACT, and that can be negotiated.
Well, the other question I have is just that, is ACT is a separate legal entity,
It's a separate entity,
separate entity from your firm.
yes.
Yes.
It's a subsidiary.
So my confusion is, how are you going to negotiate on behalf of a separate legal entity?
Because Linebarger owns ACT.
They're a subsidiary? They're a subsidiary?
They're a subsidiary of Linebarger.
Okay.
But there is a separate act contract in effect with Hidalgo County.
Is that contract in effect currently?
Yes.
So, Judge, Commissioners, I just have a concern that it's a separate contract, that term is still outstanding. And so they would have to amend the contract to be able to lower the contract rate.
Help me understand this. So you're charging the county, ACT's charging the county for using the software system. It's not something that the other firm's charging us. It's a fee you're charging for the use of the software
Correct.
system.
ACT's charging.
ACT charges
So it's not a
Hidalgo
charge from
County
the other
for their
firm.
tax office software.
Okay.
No,
Correct.
they could have bought it. They could have done the same thing, but it would have cost.
No,
them.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah, but I think that's
They
a
don't-
separate issue,
yeah.
right, Steve, altogether, the tax software.
My concern is just the firm present on behalf, I believe of, and I haven't seen the proposal, on behalf of Linebarger, correct?
Correct.
Was there any proposal on behalf of ACT?
It was included on that, Steve. As part
It
of the
was
bid.
included in our proposal.
And it stated that you would charge the county $200,000.
Yes.
Did it say specifically 200 or a substantial amount or language that's, in your presentation, you used the word substantial amount,
A substantial reduction in...
reduction.
Yeah, how much is the other firm charging compared to this
Well,
firm?
they're charging 355.
Well, the other firm's not charging.
Yeah,
The other firm doesn't provide, doesn't
don't
have a
provide
tax
it. They're not
tax
providing it.
software system.
But for them to be able to have the contract or whatever,
ACT's charging us
yeah,
for
they have
that.
to charge that, yeah.
It's not a charge from the other firm.
So what is the other firm doing? Because, put yourself in the other role when you were here 8 years ago. you know, we kept on using this service, and somebody paid for it. Was it paid by the county, or was it paid by the Purdue
county.
firm?
The county paid for it.
The
All
county.
right, and has the county kept on paying it all these years?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And if we award it to Purdue, will the county still have to keep on paying it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Higher rate.
So it'll be $355.
Yeah.
Judge, when the contract went to Purdue, the tax software, the tax software is provided to the tax office. So, and they use it to keep track of the collections and the valuations. So when the contract went to Purdue, the county continued using the software, but the rate went up. So if you were going to now come back to Lineberger, the software is still going to be utilized by the tax office. I don't think it's tied to the delinquent attorney contract. It's a separate contract.
And my knowledge of computers is horrible, but is it going to cost us money if we go with the other firm and they have to use, and do they have to use this service?
This ACT program, and I'll tell you from experience, is something that is needed in the tax office, something, either ACT or its equivalent. The county doesn't have the software to manage delinquent tax collections. ACT, the subsidiary of Linebarger, they have set up the software, the programming. So if the county doesn't get it from ACT, they'll have to get it from someplace else at a cost. It just happens to be that this firm...
Where are we
owns-
getting it now?
Before,
ACT.
well, before ACT, before...
From ACT.
We're getting it from you, right?
And
Yeah,
that went
from
through
ACT.
that went through a proposal process, and it was awarded probably in 2005,
Okay,
I
so
believe.
Yeah. But
It
I
went
don't-
through
I
a
don't-
proposal process.
I don't believe the ACT software is part of this
Well, that-
proposal. Is it,
well, that's-
Steve? Do you know?
I haven't read the proposal, so I can't really
It's
answer
a
the
separate
question.
contract
That's a separate
altogether.
contract. They've been saying all along, it's a separate contract.
But that's my question is.
Yeah, but
we're-
then
we're here
they're
on the
willing to
proposals for-
negotiate the cost of the contract, but it's not tied to the,
Yeah, it's not tied to the
proposal.
proposal, so.
Because the other firm was...
But it's money that we know it's going to cost.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but the other firm didn't submit a proposal for the tax software because they don't have one.
I don't have one.
Right.
So, can you compare them?
Yeah, you can, because it's a different contract.
No, but-
You're not comparing that.
No, but this firm submitted in their proposal the tax software
we're con-
cost.
The bottom line is one firm will save at least 155 and then maybe negotiate further, and the other one will not.
Well,
I don't know, I would defer
And-
to
and-
legal
and-
as far as the...
well, can I just have clarification? So the software is a service, a tax office that we have. That's a county responsibility. Has nothing to do with the tax collecting. It's a software system. It's a separate
Well,
agreement
it's-
contract,
It's a separate
It's a
thing.
cost item.
but it's separate to this.
Oh, it is separate to this, but on the long run,
It's-
the
it's-
county has to pay the
That's
difference.
why we have to procure it separately.
They're still gonna have to
Judge.
pay for it, so,
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah,
regardless.
Judge, let's suppose you select a different firm other than these two. You're still going to have to pay for the tax
Still gonna
software.
have to pay it,
Right.
regardless.
So it doesn't matter whether you buy it from ACT or from Lineberger. The cost is the same, even if you pick someone other than Purdue and Lineberger.
Well, but we'll know at the end of the year that we spent 355,000
Yeah.
when we only had to spend 200 or maybe even 50, who knows?
Yep.
What
Forget
Frank-
about that, we'll take care of that later on the negotiation, we just need to take care of this, no?
Yeah.
I think it's a separate issue, but it's up to legal to decide whether
Yeah.
you can take it up during the negotiations, Steve?
That's
Okay.
gonna be a different
Again,
contract.
I haven't read the proposal.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of the Purdue firm after hearing this presentation?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can we bring him in?
Yes.
You're not gonna tie it up, it's two contracts, one for this and one for that, but it's like me.
You know, I don't know who to listen to on the percentage, who collected more, I mean, I guess the one that
How much are we going to save?
That's the only difference that we have.
They're both.
Keep it up. This is a different contract. I don't think we need it. No, if they get it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, gentlemen, we have some questions that some of the commissioners want to ask. Some follow-up questions after listening to both of you and your presentations. Why don't we wait a minute? All right. Go ahead, Commissioner Palacios.
If I may, just ask a question. This was probably one of the questions I should have asked when you all first presented. It had to do with the software system. And I know it's a separate contract that the county has for the software system that the tax office uses. In this case, we're utilizing ACT, which is a subsidiary of Linebarger's team. We don't have a contract with you for that software system. You didn't present anything dealing with the software system and a cost in your proposal.
No, we did not, Commissioner.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, as far as we understand, there's an AG opinion, Attorney General opinion, that you cannot do gift backs to the taxing entity in exchange for a contract. We don't believe that that would be legal. Would it be? We would have been happy to do that.
Okay. So in this case,
I'm sorry, Commissioner. I just want to comment, and you know what we've always operated under, and it's not that we haven't addressed this type of issue elsewhere in the state. We've had to, but it's always been that there's software, and we even had a suit against a different entity up in North Texas where they were bundling together services. And they said, you can't take something over here where you've got a separate contract and try to bundle it in and hold someone hostage on another service that they're offering. We didn't consider the software. It was not part of the contract, and we never ever anticipated it being part of the contract. The Attorney General's opinion that was considered came out of the Bastrop court, and that was where it was made part of the contract that a vendor was going to offer computers and other services as part of the contract, and the Attorney General's opinion said those give-backs are not appropriate. That's not to say that a vendor can't come in out of their own, benevolence and say, when they've got the contract, you know what? We appreciate the opportunity to represent you. We want to support your livestock show at school district. We want to provide a scholarship fund. You can do those type things, and there's nothing inappropriate. But the Attorney General spoken and said, don't make that part of the contract and don't try to sway votes by offering those things up. And that's why we didn't offer it up, or we don't do that. And I'm not going to tell you you can't find where we go out and buy calves and pigs at livestock shows, do it all the time to support the local communities and FFAs and the school districts, and we support education funds, but you don't make it part of the contract.
well, I just asked a question merely. This is the first time I ever go to a presentation like this, and obviously I want to make sure that it's an important decision that we have to make, and I just want to make sure that I understand it clearly. Okay, that was my question, Judge.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Appreciate the opportunity to appear.
All right, I guess we now have our discussion, but we need to bring both firms in. Am I correct, Steve?
Correct. You need to rank, I guess, is the next thing.
Stan.
Yeah, Judge, the next thing you do is you need to rank.
Need what?
You need to rank the two firms.
What do you have to do? Turn in the paperwork?
I think we started into.
Turn your rankings into Valdi, I guess, so you can compile.
Yes, we need the final scores to be turned into us, so we can go ahead and tally the scores and we can select the number one ranked at this time?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is the will of the court? Are we supposed to do this now, or are we coming back for this, or we're supposed to do
We're
this on
supposed to
the-
do it now.
Question number one, obviously, 2 sets of data have been prepared. It's, everyone has their own position. How do we validate the data that's been presented from each firm? I mean, we have it in black and white, but obviously, we have representatives that would validate that number, so we're not going to go through that process? This is just a question about
Has the grading been done already, Commissioner?
Well, I haven't graded myself, but I'm just wondering, there was discrepancies between what both firms presented. Some hinged on certain areas, and the numbers just, are we going to validate the?
Well, it's the wish of the court, or the court desires to do it now, which is what I thought we were going to be doing.
Right, that's what we
That's
had
what we
decided, that we
proposed.
were, once you heard the final presentations, you would make, that would be your determining factor, or that would be your final determining points in order to tally up all your scores, and we would tally up the scores, and we would make the final decision of selecting the number one ranked, or the highest ranked.
I was trying to
The
understand.
grading has to be completed, right? And
I'm sorry?
the grading has to be completed in
Yes,
order for
sir,
them
it has to be
to
completed today.
compute the highest
Yes, sir,
number?
correct. So Ms. Vanji will go ahead and collect the scores once they're complete. Okay. And you will give us a second, we're going to go ahead and tally them up to go ahead and provide you the highest score.
Right, 2 on top.
Right. Precinct
This
2?
is number.
This is precinct 2. Precinct 2. But we have to check their numbers.
When you're done, ask that you double check your numbers.
Okay.
Because nobody did their homework.
Yeah, I've done all of it.
He wants Sergio to double check our numbers. Where's Sergio? Where's Sergio? Oh, he's over there. Sergio. Did you get these? Did you get these?
This is one.
Angie.
Number 2.
Did you put, I put number 2.
Benji.
Benji. Okay. Can you double check the numbers just to make sure that they're correct? Wante wants you to double check the numbers.
There's more sweet bread here, you want some?
Hey,
Here you go, Benji. Go ahead.
This is number 3. This is number 2.
put straight in the mouth.
Benji, go
My
on.
voice.
This is precinct 2, Benji.
See, but I'm going by the,
Precinct 2.
no, I'm going by the number 2 ranked.
Yeah.
And
Do we sign these things?
I just want to make sure that the numbers are right.
Ponle el nombre, no.
Printed and signed.
Okay.
Ponle judge, no.
Ya me tienen de provider aquí.
Ya todo.
Who's this?
If you did a mistake, you need to initial it.
Remember to certify the numbers, Sergio?
Don't let him touch it.
Maybe better you initial it on the side.
Te va a falta.
¿Dónde?
Para que no haya que lo cambiar. You know what I mean?
No, este no.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah. 20, and 8.
13.
What is that? 9?
I think that's a 9.
Yeah, I'm missing one.
The range.
Aquí está.
Stock market keeps going up.
Gas keeps going down.
Yeah.
See that one?
Saving me about $5,000 a load.
¿Cómo no le echan la culpa a Obama por eso, chico?
It's 20, it's 8, and 10. We came up with
Are you all certified to do that?
Price Waterhouse.
Can you give him to Linda so she can read it from me?
Ya van a ir las 5.
Yeah, you don't want to hacer las 5 y I wonder if they can stay in, they can lock up the office before we leave.
Hey, Bobby, why don't you check to see how long we can stay?
Is it louder? Is your mother? Midnight?
Till midnight.
Este got 7
No,
more
but
hours.
that, no.
Everybody, I think they need to print them and sign them. None of those particulars.
Yeah. I signed my, yeah, I signed my
I
side.
put printed and signed it.
A ver lo que nos falta, Tito.
How about we give them to both of them? That'd be a thing, huh? If we could just figure out how we can employ both firms.
It's on 2 pages. 8 of 10. Ya. Y la última hoja, chinga.
¿Qué están buscando?
¿Cuánto nos falta, dice Tito?
Yeah, you have,
Especially Tito takes over. No, we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approve, vámonos. ¿Hay executive session or no?
Sí, hay.
Okay.
okay.
Pero no está muy pesado.
¿Ya no queda tanto, Judge?
No.
All this is executive will be quick.
Yeah. Maybe another 20 minutes or so after this.
Very optimistic. Commissioner, you're very optimistic.
Oh, it is about another 20 minutes after this. Everybody wants to go home. I can't hear you.
Nobody can hear you.
No.
No.
Arrímate, mujer.
Something's wrong with it.
Uh-oh.
We're doing it on purpose.
No.
Hold on.
No, we
No.
want to make sure that it's,
It gets recorded. No?
Deduct from the rent.
Discount.
There you go. Okay, thank you. Final score for Lightborger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson is 483. We divide that by 5 graders, comes to an average of 96.6. Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott with a total of 458. You divide that by the 5 graders, comes up to an average of 91.6. So we're requesting approval of the evaluation scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Commissioners Court of the 2 participating firms in the number 1 ranked, which would be Linebarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson at 96.6.
We need a motion to accept that.
So it was 96.6, what was the other number?
96.6.
The other one was 91.6.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
is that going to be part of the motion that we need to make?
Motion to accept that ranking.
Move for approval.
Second?
All right, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is authority for the purchasing department and legal counsel to negotiate a final contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Linebarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson for RFQP number 14333-1015 VYG for the Delinquent Tax Collection Services Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
We wanted to finalize the agreement.
Yes. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And you're going to be handling all that, right?
Yes, sir, we will be handling the negotiation portion of the contract, and we'll go ahead and place an item back on the agenda in approximately maybe 2 weeks.
Judge, and I would like to evaluate the scoring grids, the scoring sheets, with your permission.
You want to evaluate it?
Yeah.
What do you mean evaluate?
Review them?
Or review them and
I don't know if
what-
he's allowed to review them.
Tally them out again to give you a
Tally 'em
different
out, tally
tally
'em
or what? A recount? No problem. A recount, no problem, Judge.
Yeah, well, I think that, is that
You've al-
permissible?
Well,
Never heard
you've
of that.
you've already made a motion to negotiate the number 1 ranked firm.
Right.
No, that is fine.
You're just asking for
after the
review.
fact.
It's public record.
If it's permissible.
Can we do that?
He can review it all he wants to. But we can't change the court's action that they took
You know,
today.
the vote stands and the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
But I would like to take a look at it.
We've taken action, you can review, tally them out. All it is just a recount.
Yeah.
Because you don't trust them then, right? They must have totaled that wrong? They don't work for the
We
auditor's
had
office.
Sergio as well, so I guess he was wrong as well. Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
sirs.
All right, thank you. All right, does that take care of that item?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor,
I
I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity, and if there's nothing further, we'd like to be excused, but please.
We thank you for the opportunity, and again, thank you again, and our employees will do the best job they can.
Don't let us down.
Thank you.
And we wanted to thank the Purdue firm for
Judge, I
the,
wanted to be sure and say we've had a great time, and it's been an honor to represent the county for the past 8 years. And we're not going anywhere. We'll be around, and we'll be watching and making sure that everybody does their job to their best of their ability. And if not, we'll certainly be back before you and welcome the opportunity to work for you at some point down the road. But we
Thank
do
you. Thank
appreciate
you
y'all
very
taking the
much.
time, and y'all try to get out here before midnight.
okay.
And I'd just like to echo Mr. Banks' comments. We thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working for you, and we will be here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Delma. Bye-bye.
May I continue with the purchasing agenda?
Yes.
That would be 21C3, requesting clarification and correction to the
Right.
project limits for work authorization numbers 3 and 4 with Millennium Engineers Group for Precinct 2 Sioux Road and Precinct 2 Eldora projects previously approved on 10/28/14 through the agenda items posted to reflect I Road East approximately 7,580 lineal feet.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D1, for Health and Human Services Department, this is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court, the responses received in connection with the request for proposals, Indigent Healthcare Computer Software. The companies that submitted were Challenger Soft and Network Sciences. Challenger Soft, as you can see, has an average score of 77.2, with Network Sciences at 98.4. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting authority for purchasing department to proceed to negotiate a best and final offer with the number 1 ranked company
Thank you.
of Network Sciences for the provision of indigent health care computer services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
My last item is E1 for the Sheriff's Department, acceptance and approval of the final negotiated contract with Dr. John Lung, M.D., for professional physician services for Hidalgo County inmates. This has been reviewed by legal and the Sheriff's Department.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Need a motion to proceed to executive session pursuant to 551, 071, and 072, and 074 of the Government Code.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Be in executive session.
Judge Commissioners, under open session, 23A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there's no action to be taken. Item 23B, pending under potential, there's no action to be taken. 23C, cause number D1GN 14004597, Blue Cross Blue Shield et al. Versus the Honorable Greg Abbott, Attorney General of Texas and Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioner, I'd like to refer back to item 7A1 and 2. Item 7A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 26202-484, professional service for provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. Can I have a motion to that effect?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 2 is requesting engagement with the firm of Atlas Hall and Rodriguez for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation, and authority to submit a letter of engagement specific to Blue Cross Blue Shield et al. Versus the Honorable Greg Abbott, Attorney General of Texas and Hidalgo County.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 22D, Elizabeth Martinez versus Hidalgo County et al. Judge Commissioners, I will proceed as directed. Item 23E, claim of AT&T. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,984.56.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
23F, claim of Jose Garza. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $2,303.67.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
23G, claim of Emilio Gutierrez. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $150.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
23H, claim of Texas Department of Public Safety. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $190.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
23I, claim of Isaac Escamilla. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $207.79.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item J and K, related requests and action. Item J, Hidalgo County versus Michael Martinez. I'd like, for purposes of assignment, for subrogation and filing suit if necessary to the Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office.
It was Jay,
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frasso, that was,
There was on 23J.
right, that was J. And then K, again, Hidalgo County versus David Patrick Casas. I'd like to put on the record and assign for subrogation and filing suit if necessary to Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office.
Action?
Yes, sir,
Move for
please.
approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, I have no further action. We do
Item
have
number
another-
15, the Head Start program, I want to nominate as my appointee to the Policy Council, Dr. Martin Castillo of Edinburgh.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in
24
favor,